Good night, Barbados. I sound a little different, but it's the same Marcia Weeks. Tell me if you can hear me. I told you the other night I wasn't feeling so good, but I am here with you because I have some amazing guests tonight, and you can hear my voice, right? I've been drinking my teas. I've been drinking my teas, and we're going to get through this tonight, right? I'm in no pain like the other night. I'm great. It's just this croaky voice. But good evening, Barbados. Good evening, the world. Welcome to the Marcia Weeks Show. I'm Marcia Weeks, and I'm coming to you live from Barbados. Let me welcome everybody who is on tonight. Vernon Garnes, good night. Judy Jilks, good night. Teroni Hall, good night. Philip C., good night. Patricia Callender, good night. Good night, guys. Heathcliff, good night. Heal the Nation, good night. Marcia, good night. Queen D, good night. Nigel Carrington. Shirley, all the way from Toronto, Canada. Lucinda Aline, good night. Good night. Hi, Carol, good night. Angela Burke, good night. Monica Ince, good night. Bajan Boy, good evening. That's a big good evening. Yeah. Lyric Lewis, good night. Mashio, good night. Folks, we're going to ask you to like and to share tonight. We have a very, very, very important show for you. We do have Felicia Dujon is going to join us. And she said to me, Marcia, I want to be able to take the people's calls. So she's going to come on at 8:30 tonight. And you're going to call in to the program and you can speak to her. We'll chat a little bit. And then, of course, we will open a little bit later. Okay. So we need you guys to stay tuned and to share. To like and share, Yes, I'm hoping my throat will be better. Yes. Yes, so you can help me out tonight by liking and sharing. Help me out by liking and sharing. Yes, help me out by liking and sharing. This is a good time to do that. Like and share. We also have Dr. Elvis who's going to be on Wickham. Dr. Elvis Wickham will be on tonight, and we're going to get to know a lot more about him, his background, his childhood. So we have two guests tonight because I wanted to take the time, right? Want to take the time and to go through. All right. So let me know if you're not hearing me well. I don't know what else to do. My voice sounds like somebody that I talk about a lot. You can have a good laugh about that. But okay, so folks, yes, I'm using all the remedies in the book, guys. All right, so let's stand for the playing of the national anthem. Everybody, we're going to play the national anthem of Barbados. And we need everybody to be focused and sing along. I can't sing tonight, but I normally sing along. Won't be able to sing tonight though. Yes, Barbados. Yes, Barbados. I couldn't sing tonight, but I was moving and swaying to it, people. Listen, this is why these are our symbols. These are our symbols. It's our flag and it's our anthem, it's our pledge. These are our symbols and they mean something. There's a reason we have them. There's a reason we have them, folks. Like and share tonight. I want you to get ready to call in to speak with Mr. John, to encourage her, to give her a word of advice, whatever it is. Connect with her. She's open to that. That's what she told me. Right? So be ready to do that. Yes, yes, yes. Have we liked and shared yet? I am going to give you everybody a minute to do that. Give everybody a minute to like and share. Like and share. I told those that have just joined, those of you just joined tonight, we just want you to know our theme tonight is the mission continues, and we're doing post-election with Felicia Dujon. And we have a clip of Steffanie Williams because I'm not sure if she's going to be able to call in. And we have Dr. Elvis Wickham, who is going to be in as well. Okay, so bear that in mind. Now, I want to play play something here, and when I put this up, you're gonna know what song am I playing? What song am I playing? Come on, let me see the comment section. Who can tell me the song I'm playing? What is the song I'm playing? Nobody. I'm not playing the song. If you see this and I'm going like this, I can't sing. You should know which song it is. Yay! Yes. You all know I love these kinds of things. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go, folks. Here we go. You all ready? Go get your flashlights.
Oh yeah, yeah. Aye, aye, aye. Oh yeah, yeah. Aye, aye, aye. Walaka. Can't drive on the road at night, cause you come with your lights so bright, like you want blind me for spite. It is overbearing. Me and you never had no war. Why you spot the light on me for? Is it accidental or you just someone caring? Every day you go here complaining all the things that ain't going right. From now on I will be explaining which place you could spot the light. Spot the light in the parliament and see who is looking out for you or barely fooling we. Spot the light the right places and find out who is on the people's side and who's selling out. Don't spot it on me, you joke. I don't get no port when guns coming in. I am sure cowboys and Indians, no, don't spot it on me, you idiot. When taxpayers' money waste, don't spot it in my face. You better spot the light man who run the place. I don't run the government. I know if the computer, don't spot it on me, Posey. Spot the light man the DLP. Oh yeah. Aye. Walaka. Blinding you with the LEDs. Them that are doing as the please. And then tell the authorities I feel violated. Go spot them in the treasury. Then you will see if the economy living off borrowed money that IMF dictated. Light is a great disinfectant. Use it, don't abuse it at night. Cause all that hide in the darkness must come out in the light. Spot the light in the board meetings and see who is representing you or the rich minority. I want you spot the light in the right places and find out who is standing up for you Just running them out. Don't put it on me. No way. I don't have any clout, no power, no say. Okay. And I ain't got no land to give away. Don't put it on me. You idiot. One for you, another one quick. Don't target me. One bit. You better spot the light on the cabinet. I may drive and get annoyed. Check my front and touch a boy. Don't put it on me. You insane. You spot the light in the wrong lane. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Balaka, balaka. When you see me on the road at night, make sure that you dim your light. I give you valuable insight. Time for activation. Aim the light, aim it all about. Demon cockroaches running out. Places you will never dream about. Need illumination. Wickedness reside in high places. Time for you to make wrong things right. Corruption is hiding dark spaces. In Barbados, let there be light. Spot the light on the police, you can choose. Some are real professional, some protect the shoes. Spot the light in the courtrooms and find out why them hardened criminals out here walking about. Don't spot it on me, you're free. I can't give a big speech, I've got the whole world, so I'm based. All know I still getting praise. Don't put it on me, you're free. I ain't looking at the George Street, I know who get cussed or beat. Spot the light out in Robert Street. I never tried to meet with Trump or get some fed up man to jam. Don't put it on me, you're good. Spot the light in El Arafat. Crime out here getting worse. Spot the light on the AG first. I ain't laughing out none. Spot the light on the Calypso. Admiral might agree. Spot the light on my friend Gabby. I know what's good for my health. Spot the light by your blinking self.
Oh my goodness. Listen, listen, listen. This is a real, somebody said it's a real classic. It's a real classic. And listen, he has it up on YouTube. And go ahead and like it and share it and let him get the likes, because when somebody does something like this, you know that there's backlash, right? You know, they might not even let him go to finals, but let the people love the song. And we gonna play the daylights out of that song. All right. And until we know the lyrics, of the song. So important that we support the Calypsonians and encourage them. I know I'm waiting on one from Colin Spencer. I'm waiting on one from Ronnie Clark, right? And those are going to be really biting songs, right? And they told me they're coming up. You love the song? Somebody, Marie says, great song. Sonny says, rocket sister. Ronnie, Sonny, where the dogs dancing? Classic is a real classic. Well, let's see if they're going to ban the song. Yes, it is very appropriate. Now, anybody who tried to spot the light where the light needs to be spotted, if you're in your house and you have cockroach in the house, once you turn on the light, what happened? The cockroach, they run, right? We all have cockroaches at some point. Let's not all pretend that, it doesn't happen to us, right? At some stage, we have cockroaches, right? And if there is cockroach and you're in the house, once you turn on, they scatter. And that's why they don't like light. The darkness, evil don't like light. So a show like this show, what this show does is that it shines the light. It illuminates, right? This show illuminates. It gives you education on lots of issues, lots of areas. I get educated. Even today, I was getting educated. about the gas prices. People were sending me stuff about the gas prices, and I was studying about how the gas prices, how they arrive at the amount you pay at the pump. And I know Ryan has done that. Senator Ryan Walters have been hammering that home. And to believe that Barbados is the in the Caribbean, actually, the most expensive, the most you pay the most for gas at the pump in Barbados out of all the Caribbean islands. And you know that when fuel is high, everything else is going to be high. And that's something that we're going to do a whole series and a whole show on that. Once the fuel price is high, you expect that what you're going to pay at the supermarket is going to be high. It affects everything. Right? We are in a crisis. I agree with you, Tironi. We are in a crisis. And so Senator Ryan Walters, he spot the light on that. Yeah? He spot the light. You could come up with all the things that we need to spot the light on. What are all the things that we need to spot the light on? Because when you start to spot the light, then they're going to call you all kinds of names. I hear they're saying that the show is negative. No, the show isn't negative. The show is highlighting. The show is spotting the light on what this corrupt government is doing. The most corrupt government, the Mia Motley's government, is the most corrupt government in Barbados. When you could take up people's land and give it away to your friends. Huh? When you take up people's land and give it for free to your friends. And you expect us to come on this show and not say anything about it? We're going to spot the light on it. Put up the government spending. Correct. When you're going to have an oversized cabinet, just even take that alone. When you're going to pay your ministers housing allowance and all entertainment allowance and travel allowance, almost $250,000, we going to spot the light on that. Yeah, we're going to spot the light on that. Yeah. Right? When she give Bajans $300 of our own money before, just before an election, right? Buying an election. That's what she did. She bought the election. We're gonna come on the show and we're gonna spot the light. And you could tell all of those announcers, tell them all of them on if they don't want to spot the light on Brass Tacks, we're gonna do it on here. So you tell all of them, I don't need to call their names. You know who they are. You know who they are. We're going to spot the light on the Marcia Week show. We spot the light on them. Okay? What else? Yes, the underhanded deals that are made at midnight, we spot the light on them. We do like this. We spot the light. And the light brings illumination. That's how you understand. You come on the show and you start to understand because we are spotting the light. What else? Come on, guys. Tell me what else. Yeah. What else do we need to spot the light on? Or what else do we do on the show when we have the teachers? What about the teachers who are not getting their long-term leave? We're gonna spot the light on it. Yeah. Yes, all these bills that they're passing, we spot the light on it, and that's what we do. That's what we do on the Marcia Week show. So when they ask you, what is it? We don't even know what this show about. This show is here to educate. Let them know all the things that you've learned on this show. Educate, motivate. We mobilize, we agitate. It is through this show that we went to Washington and got them afraid to peep out, to put out that cybercrime bill. It's this show, and that's why they're so unhappy about the show. Yeah, the nurses and the prison officers pay can't get the pay on time. Me as travel, we spot the light on it. We're gonna spot the light on that, and that's what the leader of the opposition does. The leader of they're not going to like the leader of the opposition. Since Mr. Thorne has come into office, Mr. Thorne, thank God for Mr. Thorne. Won't you say that? Huh? Won't you say thank God to Mr. Thorne? For Mr. Thorne? There's so many things. Mr. Thorne, we raised the hope issue on this show, but Mr. Thorne took it into Parliament and illuminated and made it so big, so large. Yes, the senators, they talk about these high taxes and the high cost of living, and they're going to say that Rob Thorne is a worse opposition leader. Did they look at Mia Mottley when she was opposition leader? When she was doing such a bad job. She was doing such a bad job in leading her party that, guess what? They had to take the job from her. You remember that? I wonder if they remember that. I wonder if they remember how bad Mia Mottley was as a leader of her party. And if it wasn't for the lies and the propaganda that they have, put on the DLP and the plants, don't forget the plants. I want to tell you something, guys. If you haven't watched this yet, there is a show that we did with Marsha Hines. And this is Dr. Marsha Hines, Myri. And I want to say to you, try to find that on the video section of the Mars of Africa Bridge. And you will see, I think we actually cut out that section. And she talked about Kingmaker. How many of you remember that? And she talked about how one of the strategies that they have is to put plants inside of a party. And let me tell you something, based on what I understand, they have done that. Some of them that have left the party were plants. There's some of them that there's some third parties that are not associated with Mia Mottley, but then there are third parties that have been put there by Mia Mottley, sponsored by Mia Mottley. How could you have a third party and you're meeting with Mia Mottley? How does that make sense? You are having meetings with Mia Mottley. You're taking money from Mia Mottley. How can that third party be effective? And there are third parties, let me just hasten to say, that are legitimate third parties, but there are third parties. Some of these are put there by the Prime Minister. Come to the front of the class, born again. And speaking of third parties, let me play this. So when you hear them talking, you know what the facts are. They don't know what the facts are. You know what the facts are. Let me just play something for you.
Hi, everyone. Politics is a real nasty game, And I mean, I understand why I took myself from politics before. You see all the back and forth pamper setting on the platform, hearing about people being paid to vote, all these broken promises. So I've heard that persons have been given in cash $300, sometimes more, to vote. Now I'm hearing that persons are being called on the telephone and persons are saying to them, if you vote for Mr. Blackman, you're going to get your house fixed. I mean, after all of these years, it took a by-election for persons to realize that people wanted their houses fixed, that persons required better living conditions. I mean, like, it is so crazy, the length and the depth that persons are willing to go to win a seat. The manipulation, the victimization, the discrimination. Many lady in Western told me that I couldn't do the spot meeting by her anymore because she would really like some help from the PM, and if she allows me to, she feel the PM wouldn't help her. I didn't even feel hurt because it wasn't unexpected. Because when persons are accustomed to things being away, they're going to do whatever it takes to keep things that way, which is understandable, you know. But at the same time, if you want to keep things in your favor, then you should be doing things in the favor of the people. Persons are being elected to serve the people, and it seems that people have to serve the persons in government or their representatives. It is just crazy and sad.
You know, folks, this young lady, very genuine, very genuine. You know, I've known her for some time, and she's always advocating for the children. You know, she does a lot of work in her community. That's a genuine person. And let me tell you something. When I read the comments that were put underneath this post by Barbadians, it's really, I mean, I believe that Errol Barrow and those that went before will be rolling in their graves because they would never be able to understand the level of thinking where we have dropped in terms of our thinking and how we see ourselves. It's talking about what mirror image do we have of ourselves. That is what Errol Barrow. This is the speech given by Errol Barrow. What kind of mirror image do we have of ourselves when we are going to give away our vote like that? And you know what's good about this? It's not the DLP saying it. This is this lone person trying to make a difference and realizing that with all of the gimmicks of the government, they're making it impossible for us to have a true democracy. Can you imagine that? And I wanted us to play it because I saw the comments. People were laughing at her. They were actually laughing at her. That's just amazing. Just amazing. Well, guys, it's 7:30 and I can see in the green room, I can see Dr. Elvis Wickham is here, guys. And you've asked me to get him on for you. And tonight we're going to be chatting. We're going to chat. We're not gonna rush him. And Felicia Dujon will join us at 8:30. All right. Now I need you to share. One of the things that they're going to do, and I keep telling you all, is to gang up on us. And what they do, they start to report the page. All right. And once they start to report the page, you're going to find the algorithm begins to work. And what happens is that it's not a person they're reporting to. It's just technology. So all it's going to do, it's going to cause the numbers to drop. All right. And we need the numbers to grow. So I'm going to ask everybody to go ahead and to like and to share. Like and share. If the algorithm realizes you're liking it, and then they are disliking, sometimes what they do, they get groups of people to come on and to dislike the show. It's a plan. So I need you to take the moment to do that. Okay. All right. So we're going to jump right in. And tonight we want to welcome for the first time to our live show, Dr. Elvis Wickham. Good night, Dr. Wickham.
Hi, good night. Good night, Marcia. Good night, everyone.
Good night, sir. My voice is not the best, but I think you could still hear me.
Yes, I can. I can hear you clearly.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Well, sir, it's a joy to have you on the show tonight. And we watched in uh awe as you spoke the first night that you spoke at the DLP, um on the DLP campaign. And we wondered, who is that man? What is he saying? And we felt that you were speaking like one of us. And before we even talk about anything about the DLP, about the campaign and the speech, etc., I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, because I got a little note telling me some things, and I called you and you said, well, it's about right. So you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I don't usually talk much about myself. I like to get on to whatever the issue is and dealing with and helping persons. In fact, when I'm usually asked to give a bio before a speech, I would say, Elvis Wickham, husband of one wife, father of two children, and let's get on with it. That's usually me.
Well,
But very difficult background has helped to forge who I am, and
when you say
yeah.
difficult background, what do you mean? So I will ask the question, since it's going to take a little time
Yeah.
for you to. When you say difficult background, what do you mean?
Grew up in what we would call extreme poverty, very very difficult circumstances of the kind that even today in 2025, would be hard for many to imagine. I know what it is to go days without guarantee of where that next certain meal may come from. There will always be a little something, but not what we would call a meal.
Yes.
So I know what it is to get by on bakes, you know, and sweet water as a drink, so to speak. So yeah, that kind of difficulty.
So
I know
what
what
was
it
it
is.
like when you were going to primary school? That is the
Primary
primary
school
school.
and even into secondary school to some extent. Yeah, I would
Wow.
probably say more than half of secondary school life.
You
I'm the
serious?
youngest, so what would have happened is by the time I got to later secondary school, a number of persons would have, because they're much older than me, would have left home, and gone and settled on their own and so on with their respective families.
Wow. And so that's and so how many children?
There were six of us. There were six of us in the house.
Wow. Six children. And
Yes, yeah.
you
I
were
have two other brothers and sisters, but there were six of us growing up in that household.
in that particular household. And where did you go to primary school?
St. Philip Boys School and then St. Philip Primary School.
Oh,
So
I don't
yeah,
know
I'm
about
St.
the
Philip all
boys'
the way.
school. Oh, you're a Filipino. I'm a transplant from Jamaica to
We
St.
welcome
Philip.
you. We welcome you.
So there was a St. Philip boys' school, and
Yes,
which I
there
don't know
was.
about.
The
Mhm.
two schools joined in 1984 to be the St. Philip Boys and the St. Philip Girls to become the St. Philip's Primary School, which is still there today.
St. Philip Primary School. And where did you go to secondary school, sir?
Queens College.
Went to Queen's College. And so, in all of that abject poverty, because when it is that you have to be drinking, eating bakes and drinking sweet water, right?
Yes,
Uh,
please.
Sugar
This
water.
is just sugar and water.
Yeah, I remember my son came home from school after we moved from the US here, and my son came from school. We was going to Bailey's, and came home and telling me he wants sugar water to take to school. So I said, I don't know. I'm like, sugar water. What do you mean? He said, Mommy, it's like lemonade, but no lemon in it. That is what I want. He's fully Bajan. My children just love being
Right.
Bajan. But that's what he wanted to. But you even at primary school, did you feel ostracized? What was it like being that poor? Because I'm sure there were other things that you might not have had, not a nice bag or nice shoes, and
Oh,
you know.
definitely not. Definitely not. There were times we couldn't even afford a pencil. The times you couldn't afford a pencil. There were times when a plastic bag was your school bag. There were times when the shoes had holes, like gaping holes, not a tiny little tear. So there were the occasional comments. I ignored a lot of it. Because I really tried to focus, even from that young, on why I was there. But yeah, there would be comments, but I wouldn't say it was overwhelming, or it
Yes.
may just be that I managed to ignore a lot of it because I was just trying to get through my work.
So how about Queen's College? So that was primary school. As little children, sometimes we know how to, you don't pay that any attention. But before I even go there, I mean, even taking your school your books in a plastic bag, holes in the shoes, sweet water and sugar water and bakes. But you went to Queen's College. What were the grades that you got with in those conditions?
Well, back then the common entrance system was a little different grading from it is now. But I did quite well in mathematics. A little lower in English, but enough to get. I would often joke to get me through the back door of Queen's College.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time, I remember there was often in first form some discussion about the marks that you came in with, and mine certainly was among the lowest entering Queen's College at the
Mm-hmm.
time. Uh, but I was there. I managed to I
Mm-hmm.
managed to make it in.
Right. But you got in to Queen's College. And so when you went to Queen's College, you said at least half of that time it was a similar thing. So I mean, did you, because Queen's College, they have a lot of expat children, really, middle to upper class. How did you manage that?
Really, at Queen's College back then, for me personally, it wasn't that bad in terms of persons making fun of you. I mean, there would be the occasional comment, but I can definitely say it wasn't that bad. In fact, I grew really to love my school, especially in the later years where my school helped me tremendously. It was more in the earlier years, first, second, third form, where there would be the occasional comment regarding how I might have appeared on account of poverty, but it was not extensive. It was definitely not. Most persons, really, most of my classmates, schoolmates, didn't really bother about that kind of thing, or try to rub it in any way. So I felt thankfully, relatively comfortable there in that regard. So, kudos to my school in that regard. Like I said, there was the occasional comment, but not at all anything overwhelming, and not frequent at all.
Wow. Well, that's great. Some of us got teased and don't want to go back to school. So
I ignored a lot of stuff. I ignored a
you,
lot of
you
stuff
ignored a
because
lot of
I
things.
tried to just focus on what I needed to do from primary school through the secondary school, focus on what I needed to do. Something I forgot to mention that was very significant about my primary school time, which I would mention by way of encouragement to others. But so St. Philip is rural parish. There are a lot of suburb type areas now. But one of those things that helped me to get through primary school and even secondary school, my school home would have been pretty close to a lot of agricultural land. So one of the things I would do, literally as soon as the school is finished, you run home, to get there as quickly as possible, change clothes to go out in the field to help. Because that was how, whether it was picking cotton or whether it was picking acquis and selling acquis by what we call a bridge, you did what you had to get by. So that I learned from very early hard work. I learned hard
Yes.
work from very early. Life isn't always what you may want it to be. Life isn't
Yes.
always fair, but you do what you have to do that's legal and legit to get through. So that picking cotton, which I mean, it takes quite a bit of cotton to make a pound, and you were paid by the pound. Whether it be picking cotton, helping with canes, or dealing with acquis, you did what you had to
So
get
so
by.
you
So
were working on somebody else's field?
no, so this would be in like the plantation because we're pretty near to live pretty near to Chapel Plantation. So and my mom for quite some time, before she had other jobs, would have worked in the field. So we would assist. And
Ah,
I look forward to that. Anything to bring in some extra, a few extra
yes.
dollars into the house. Yeah.
Yes. So you were running home to go home to pick cotton and to do all these things.
Yes, please.
Now, right. And so you went through, I mean, as you said, that's why you said very difficult times. And you're a young man, you're still a young man. So it's just the other day, really. So let me ask you, when you did your CXCs, did you The situation that you lived under, did it affect you or affect your
Well,
performance?
CXCs were certainly easier than what we call A level at the time, because by the time we got to CXCs, I was into a groove of work. First form, second form, content to fit in, just do what everyone else is doing, perform middle of class there or thereabouts. It was really in third form that I started paying serious attention to my academics. Somewhere about fourth form, decided what I wanted to do, but it was really in third form. So from third to fifth, I was
But what
locked in.
changed for you? What changed? You said third form.
I do not know entirely. What I do recall was a particular exam I did in second form. I always remembered it was Spanish, and I remember getting 84% in that Spanish exam and placing second or third in the class. And I had that moment where I thought to myself, but wait a minute, if I could get 84%, doing next to no work, I really didn't do much work. I just came to class, I did nothing extra. I was shocked at how I managed to get 84%, doing very little. So over the summer between second to third, there was that thought. Didn't grow up in Sunday school, so wasn't in Sunday school or anything at the time, but I'm pretty sure somebody was praying for me, because between second to third form, I thought to myself, if I can get 84% in an exam that I didn't prep for, didn't study for, I barely did anything during the course of the year, wonder what would happen if I actually did start applying myself seriously to my studies. So I started like that from the beginning of third form, and I never looked back.
And you just kept, going,
Yes,
and so when you did, so by the time you got to fifth form, it was CXCs, right?
yes, please.
It was
Yes, fifth
CXCs.
form, CXCs, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And how did you do for those?
Got all grade ones and a grade A in additional
Wow.
mathematics. Yeah.
Wow. This is from bakes and sugar water. I hope the parents listening,
And some
carrying.
days not knowing what about lunch, what you're gonna have for lunch. I even had some days at Queen's College where I didn't know how I was going to get home.
Oh, no bus fare to get home.
That's correct.
Because you was that time before the DLP had, when they came in, they removed the bus fare for the children. So it was before that time, and you didn't know where, but you did so well that you, and how many subjects you did?
I think there are 9 subjects in total.
My goodness. And an A in ad math.
Yes, please.
What on earth? So, my lord, and all the way from first to third, you were just in the middle of the class.
Yes, please.
You see this thing, guys? What about your
And
faith?
in fact, used to be a science no, but I always remember that I came second last in integrated science in first form. Second last in integrated science, even though I am now a man of science. So I often use that as an encouragement when I'm talking with younger persons. You know, uh, Life throws you a lot of experiences, it's a stepping stone. But second last in integrated science in first form, I hated science.
Yes, 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 yes. This is, as somebody is saying, it's good to hear your background because they've started. We're going to address some of those issues that's out there, before we go tonight. We're taking our time, our cool time, because I think the people need to understand who he is, and that's why I tell them, Dr. Wickham, that this is what we do on the Marcia Week show. We are going to educate, we're going to mobilize, we're going to motivate, we're going to agitate. And this is educating you guys on who Dr. Elvis Wickham is. So that was that was fifth form. Did you do sixth form?
Yes, yes, I did. I did sixth form at Queen's College. There's a big gulf between fifth form and sixth form in terms of volume of work. So I mean, while at Queen's College, I would have done a lot of work on the school compounds because at home I really had nowhere to study. So that is why persons who remember me from growing up often, and I pass them from time to time, who would have seen me on a bus, remember that they always saw me on a bus reading and studying. And that is true. Sometimes one hand is holding the rail, the other hand is holding the book. And I'm reading all the way to Bridgetown, the way to Queen's College, the way back to, because by that point, Queen's College had moved to Husband St. James. And I'm reading on the way back to Bridgetown, and then I'm reading from Bridgetown on the way home because didn't obviously always get a seat. I remember carrying a very big folder, 3 to 4 inches. Which was heavy, and I know I'd have to kindly ask someone to hold it for me. But so many persons at
Wow.
that time were gracious because I had to move with house and land, so to speak. All of my books had to be in my bag along with my folder and notes because home was no place, wasn't really fit for study. So I had to do a lot of my studying at school on the school
So,
compounds, and
so,
would leave
so,
school.
so it was because you didn't have the space to study
Definitely
at
did.
home.
Definitely did not. So I had to do a lot of that, all of it really at school. By the time I got to sixth form, and I would got some assistance in terms of places to go to study, and there was a friend of mine, older friend who family friend who would bring me up at night. So you leave Queens College at 6:30 on evenings, and you go to that location to study. When he was finished with his classes, he would bring me up 9 o'clock at night. We would do that 2 3 nights a week. Other times I would leave Queens College just in time to get the 7 o'clock bus before to take home because bus fare increased after 7 for school students, even though you were in uniform. So I would stay at school until about 6:30, and time being able to get to Fairshire Street bus terminal. But you did what you had to do because you saw that life wasn't easy. Yeah, I could have grumbled and complained and come up with all the excuses in the world, but I decided to work hard.
Wow. And this is so amazing, guys. If you have children, it's Friday evening. See if they would gather around the your device. Send them the link. They could be in their room watching it, or you guys could watch it together. I think this is important because the way we see the economy going, and we're gonna have that wide gulf. Really, we're not gonna have much of a middle class if this continues the way it is. So I just want to pause to say to everybody, please get the children, get your teenagers listening if you can. So sixth form, and you were you couldn't study at home, staying late at school, studying at a friend's place, studying on the bus, one hand up. How did you do? I'm curious with those capes. Of the cape can be hard. How did you do?
I did well. I did well. Was I did well in A levels. Was able to get a Barbados scholarship to pursue studies overseas.
What?
Um,
Hold a minute. You talk. I can't even talk. Normally, I would go up some decibels. I can't tonight. So hold a minute here. Listen to me. Did you hear this man's story tonight, guys? Did you hear he just said he got an exhibition? So not an exhibition, a scholarship. So if you got a scholarship, it means that you get all ones in Cape?
uh, Grade A's at the time, Cambridge.
Wow.
Maths, biology, chemistry, B in further mathematics, which was a higher mathematics course than the traditional A level, and of
Like the
course then we
pure
had the
pure
general
math,
paper.
like pure math.
Yeah, it was a back then it was a it was a little different from how it's arranged now, but it was a combination of pure math, statistics, and something called particle mechanics or kinematics.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. And so he got grade A's in the ones that mattered, and he got a scholarship. These are the people that deserve this scholarship, because how else would you have studied, I mean, overseas? So where did you go to study? Well, first of all, congratulations, even though it was years ago. Where did you
Yeah,
go to study?
Mona, Jamaica.
Ah, all right. No, you had a lot of ackee and saltfish and callaloo and dumpling
The,
and
the, the ackee and saltfish never grew on me, but I thoroughly though enjoyed my time in Jamaica. I thoroughly enjoyed my time in Jamaica.
yes,
So much
yes.
so that I went back there to work. After I had returned to Barbados, I returned to Jamaica to work for a year before then coming back to Barbados again.
Wow. Do you tell these stories to your children, your own children?
Yes, yeah, I've shared. I'm sure from time to time you leave out a detail and you remember to share something else. But I definitely share with them the journey to this point because I think it's instructive. I'm a firm believer in learning from life's experiences.
Wow. Oh my goodness. And you finished that, and then you came back. So how was it? I know the scholarship covers some expenses, but I don't think it does all. So
No,
how do
so
you, yeah, talk to
it
me
was a
about that.
struggle. It was definitely a struggle. As far as living expenses go, really the scholarship covered less than half of living expenses. The additional funding that you get outside of covering tuition fees and so on, at that time, it covered. I can't remember the exact figure now, but it was definitely less than half of what you needed. So you had to rely on various sources to send money over. I did get a small student loan at some point. Not I probably think the second year to assist as well.
Mm-hmm.
And while over there, you lived on a very tight budget because it was tough over there as well. I didn't want to get a too large student loan because then you have to deal with paying back and other issues. So it was very tight budget. There are certainly significant challenges in terms of resources. Um, but God saw me through. God saw me through. It was definitely not easy over there. So you had the challenge of the financial difficulties while still trying to do your primary job there, which is your work, your academics, and medical school, as you can imagine, is not easy. The volume of work to be covered and the short space of time in which you have to cover it was tremendous. So yeah, you're trying to focus on your studies while trying to figure out, trying to balance the numbers, how you're going to get by.
Yeah. So, my goodness, I know those college days, how it can be difficult eating a lot of tin mackerel. We used to call it another name. I can't use it on the program, but we used and I have a lot of rice and just basic to get by. But you got by. But let me ask you, in the midst of all of this, I mean, this sounds like it was such an uphill struggle for you, as you try to elevate yourself. But what about your faith? Were you a person of faith from primary, secondary, or where? What part in your
Late
life?
secondary school, from late secondary school. So
Um,
and faith definitely helped me. You know, there was courage from that, knowing that God will see me through. However difficult it was, that God will see me through. And I would have known enough at that point in faith, just enough to know that, yeah, He would see me through, and He did. Funds will be provided sometimes from unlikely sources or unexpected sources. It will come through just in the nick of
Amen.
time, if there was a payment
Amen.
to make, or something. So that happened on numerous occasions.
So you felt God's hand guiding you, and your faith played a central role
Yes,
in
yeah, that
in
definitely
your
keep me
life.
going. I didn't have funds to do a lot of what might be considered the nicer things on campus. So I did have like an very old Sony Walkman. Younger persons may not even remember what that was. I had a little radio station that was the books, the Walkman, and getting through studies late night. You couldn't go a lot of places, do a lot of things. Well, much of that wasn't my personality in any case.
Hmm.
But knowing that God was there with me, there were ups and downs. I'm not gonna sit here and say it was all perfect and that there were no issues.
Yes.
But the overall trajectory of upward towards God, just trying to do the right thing, and be a good witness for Him.
Yes, yes, yes. And and the good thing is that, I mean, isn't that was it a 5 year, probably a 7 year program for you, right?
Five. Yeah, I did
Five.
three in Jamaica. Returned here for two,
Uh-huh.
before going back to Jamaica again.
Right. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. And but you came back. Some people, as you said, they went to Jamaica and they work in Jamaica. I have, I know students in Barbados who chose to go back to work in Jamaica. But you're here in Barbados, and you chose to come home to work here. Why?
Well, it's my home. I love my home. I love Barbados. There's also the fact that it is an obligation of scholarship. You're supposed to give back to Barbados in years equivalent to your length of study. So it's a
Hmm.
5 year program. So by the agreement signed for in return for the support that you got from government, you
Yeah.
promise to return to Barbados to work for at least 5 years. You don't necessarily have to work in government, but you have to contribute to the island for the length of time for which you would have been supported in your studies. And I believe in honoring that obligation. The alternative was, if you chose to stay overseas, would have been to pay the government back the amount of money that they would have supported you during your course of study. But for me,
Yes.
it wasn't a case of I definitely wanted to return home.
You know, this is powerful stuff. Can you would you be so kind to I'm just I right now I'm trying to I'm still at Mona, and I'm still thinking of you being away and not even having all that you need. I just had a son who came in from Trinidad, and it was so difficult to try to make sure that they have, exactly what they needed, what he needed. But you came back, but some people, they might not even, they might decide, try to get jobs overseas, but you stayed in Barbados because you love your country. How many years have you been practicing medicine?
Will be 25 years in a few days.
You've been practicing, and but why, I forgot to ask you, why did you choose to be a doctor?
A combination of love for sciences, but also wanted to be able to help persons.
Hmm.
So for me, it was a merge of the two. I mean, yes, of course, there are other things you can do in the sciences, but I want to be able to help help persons.
Yes.
Um,
So you did it because you wanted to serve. Now we there's so many more things that we can ask, but I want to, from that, based on that answer, I want you to bring us up to date, where you why did you decide, because you're somebody of faith, and I think you preach sometimes in your church.
yes, yeah, not too often, but from time to time when asked, yeah.
Yes, but so you're a strong Christian man.
I'm a firm believer in Jesus. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna tell you that I have it all together or all the time. But I remember David in the Bible. He certainly was, you could argue, a flawed character, but there's no doubt where his arc was upward towards God. So that's how I try to live my life. I'm not turning back. I'm not gonna say it's going to be perfect all the time. Won't make mistakes, but yeah, a man. I do live by this motto: a man is profited nothing to gain the whole world and lose his
And
soul.
lose his
So for
soul. Yes.
me, it's about being right with God. That's
Hmm.
my primary concern. I say it often. I mean, if I have to die for my integrity intact, I'm cool with that. But my integrity must be intact. If I realize I've erred in any area, you try to make amends, apologize, etc. Ask forgiveness, but overall, just to keep my heart pointing toward God. That's my aim in life. It's not about the things of this world or this life per se, because I mean it is obvious. It isn't just that scripture says it. It is obvious. You can't carry any of this with you. Maybe take our last breath. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. This is, oh my goodness, guys. This is really, really enlightening. I want you to take a moment. I want to ask you again. Take a moment and share. Some of you have just joined. I see the numbers are going up, but I need you to share. This is too important, and this is what you're not getting on in the traditional media. They would rather to sit down and make up a story about someone, anybody who pushes their head out there, but they don't get to know the person. So I'm going to ask you to share. Come on, guys, help to share this. So you wanted to serve others, and so you became a doctor. At what point did you decide that you wanted to join the DLP? Are you a member of the DLP?
Yes, I am.
What when did you join? Was it something recent?
Very recent. Oh, very recent. Only a very few months, handful of months. Very recent. Like I said, a year ago the same time, I've been concerned, interested in the affairs of my country for a while. But I would have said, I've said it publicly. I didn't want to be too involved in politics because I saw it as a nasty endeavor. A lot of mudslinging, name calling, attacking. And certainly when my children are younger, they don't want to put them through what may come their way. So I've been very observant, even though not involved. I've seen what
Yes.
politics is like, and I wanted no part of that. Didn't want to get near it with 10-foot pole, so to speak. But yeah, it became increasingly difficult to ignore what was happening. The facade, the pretense that all was well. Blatant. What I saw is blatant disregard for the people of Barbados in a number instances. What I also saw as trying to pull a wool over people's eyes, there's certain precepts that I've always taught my children, literally from the time they were born, and here I was seeing these things being violated, so to speak. Um, so there is that moment fairly recently where how could I remain silent, for any longer. Yes, you would, in conversation with individuals, express your concern, but there was a need to be for more to be said and done nationally to help pull back the veil, so to speak, remove the mask, like I said, crack the facade, the illusion that all is well, because all is clearly not well in Barbados, and to begin to show how we could move toward a better place for the good of the entire population, not, as I would say, not for a handful with token gestures to the majority.
Yeah. So,
So then
Mr.
I decided to get involved.
Wow, but
And
Mr.
I felt
Wickham.
that release in my
Mhm.
spirit, that confidence that now was the time for me to do it.
But how did you resolve? I mean, you preach, you're a lay preacher in your church. You've been a born again believer for probably that seems to be over 30 something years. What? I mean, was it difficult? Did you have a lot of conflict on the inside to make a decision? Because a lot of Christians, they say, even to me, you're being led astray. One person said, what you're doing, you're being led astray in doing this. Did you think about those kinds of consequences being a born again believer, and you went and you left your home and go and sign up to be part of the DLP?
So the thoughts definitely crossed my mind because I've been in church long enough now to know the average or typical attitude, so to speak, of evangelical Pentecostal church folk to being involved in politics. And I myself have observed over the years persons who identify as being Christians, believers, and you observe that once they're involved in politics, you see things happening that leave some question marks. So from that point of view, it's like, whoa, I can't get involved. I can't get close. I would say the forces in politics that could pull you in the other direction away from God are extremely strong. So you better know that God has sent you, has commissioned you. That said, there's certainly nowhere in the Bible that bars or forbids believers from being involved in politics.
Hmm.
And I often make this point, um, how can we as believers accept that the power of the blood is sufficient to heal the sick, raise the dead, even, but somehow it can't keep a believer pure in politics. We're kidding. We
Yes.
can't be
Yeah.
serious. We can't be serious if we believe it can heal, but it can't keep you whole and pure in politics.
Yes.
We're making a mockery of our faith. Our faith is wrong, but you better know that God has sent you because, like I said, that the forces on the other side can be really strong, pulling you away. For example, just from observation, it would appear as though the lure of money is what does it.
Mhm.
Money, power, position. So I've certainly over a couple of decades seen persons who've identified as believers, they involved in politics, and a few years later, you wonder what become of their faith. So with the lure being so strong, you better know that God has commissioned you to be involved. Otherwise, yes, you could become another statistic that cause persons to shake their head, saying, look how that Christian is now getting on, how they speak, how they talk, they're mudsling, the corruption allegations, etc. And then you bring disrepute to the name of Christ, but really it's to yourself. And at the end
And
of the day, when all is said and done, you
you,
have to give account for how you've lived your life.
yeah. And so your safeguard is knowing that you know in your heart that God sent you there.
Yes, please.
Yes. Wow. Well, I mean, us looking on and hearing you, I mean, it's we could tell. We could definitely tell. So, do you have desires for elective politics?
At this point, that is not my plan. I am open to whatever God will have me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
You,
sometimes that
yeah.
may take you outside of your comfort zones. Like a year, 2 years ago, I would have said about being involved to the extent that I am now. I would have said definitely not. And sure, when I first started getting those nudgings in my heart that the time has come for me to do more, to be involved, it was still going up against what is my baseline personality.
Mm-hmm.
of just wanted to stay away from drama and public attention because I like to just spend time with my family and get on with life, just trying to eke out of an existence, trying to be safe and so on. That really is my baseline preference. Because as I said, once you go public and you say things, automatically you become a target. The target aspect I didn't worry about per se because my Bible tells me, "Fear not him who all he can do is take your life and no more." And I remember the who we call the three Hebrew boys when they said to the king at the time, "King, do what you want to do with us, but we are far more concerned about what God would do with us if we disobey Him." So yeah, that's the approach that I take.
Yes. Somebody saying your thoughts and approach in politics is what is missing in politics. He has a conscience. And I think that is what was shining through when we heard your speech. Apart from that, it was you were very articulate. You could tell that the speech was well put together. But we could there was something about it that you felt something, and I think that that is what the people, just to say that to you. So when you were asked, can I is it okay to find out, you were on the DLP platform, on DLP TV, which is on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7. So I saw you on there, speaking for the first time, being interviewed and answering questions, etc. And when you were approached to do that, did you tell yourself, oh boy, everybody's going to see me now?
Yeah, that thought crossed my mind. Where I prefer to help in the background, give assistance, advice in the background, but at the same time, I couldn't get away from the fact that I knew I had something to say. I knew I had something to offer, that I could contribute to a national discourse that needs to be had. There was no getting away from that, and the fact that you know I'm not afraid of certain persons as others are. If
Mm-hmm.
there's if anything, I fear God and what
Yes.
not doing what He would have me to do, and I know I have to answer to Him. So, um, again, baseline personality, I wouldn't want to be on TV. Baseline personality, I wouldn't even want to be on this show. No, but there is that. If God gives you something to say, you say it.
Yes. And then so you went, and that was fine. And but then you because you signed up to help the DLP, you signed up not just to be a member and just sit aside criticizing. You decided, I'm a member, and if they're having something, I'm going to help them. Now,
Yes, yes, yes. As I had mentioned, as far as this campaign specifically, it was canvassing and meeting persons, interacting. I should make the point clear that part of what allowed me to be able to sign up, I was able to make very clear what my terms and conditions are, so to speak.
yes.
Um, I made it very clear. My loyalty is not to any person or to a party as my first priority.
Mm,
God forbid the day comes when that changes, but my loyalty is first and foremost to Him. I will stand on principles. There are certain things that are right, and there are certain things that are wrong. That is my
mm-hmm.
approach. I was able to express that clearly, and what I have found from both the time when I expressed that as my interest, as my benchmark, so to speak, the anchor on which I would sit on, that position, that approach was very much welcome by the opposition leader, who at the time said, that is exactly, the kind of approach that they're looking for. What I can say is that in my time, in, like I said, very recent, and obviously I'm not going to get into specifics of discussions had internally, but the approach that we've tried to take is in line with my views, my beliefs, and in terms of trying to keep things clean and above board and deal with issues, not getting into mudslinging, etc. Just let's just deal with facts, being what the theme for the show, the LPTV says, which is to say honest voices for the people. I do not have to compromise my views or position, and I said I made it clear. My first loyalty and priority is not to a leader or to a person. And in fact, I said it to you a couple of days ago. I do not worship men, and I have no intention of starting. And that is regardless of who you are. My worship is for God, and I live by the motto that I am accountable to Him.
Mm-hmm. So you would have spoken to the leader of the opposition, about who you are and your stance. And he said, yes, you are the kind of person that we are looking for. You're invited to the DLP platform. Um, and then who is it that thought you could speak and ask you to speak? How did that go? Can you walk us through that?
Well, I'm not gonna get into some specifics, but from my interactions with the party and on the inside of the party, they would have realized that I can articulate issues, handle myself, so to speak. I'm
Mhm.
not sure who would have made the final decision as far as that first speaking engagement on the platform. But I would have been on primarily the Tuesday night, DLP TV on a few occasions, and would have been able to articulate issues there. So I was asked the question regarding Saturday night, which was the first time on, and I knew in my spirit that I had something to say, that there was something for me to say, there was something that Barbados needed to hear,
Yeah.
not from me, but as God's concerns and an honest assessment of where we are as a country. I have no interest in gimmicks, facade, or pretense. I just try to call it as it is, and I've said for a long time that that is what is needed in politics. I have no interest in speaking only through the lens of a particular party only, whether it be for or against, but they used to be bedrock principles that we had in life regarding right or wrong. Now everything seems so optional depending on who you're loyal to or who you're aligned with, who you swear allegiance to. My allegiance is to God.
But it's interesting, even in the DLP, has had, last August, turmoil, and even in that, you still decided to go to join, and I find that very interesting,
Yep.
that you would still do that.
So I would have joined at the time that I joined. I joined what that turmoil was months before I had
Mhm.
joined. I can't say what I may have done months ago, but at the time that I joined, I found none of that. And I found a group of persons trying to do the right thing for Barbados and
Mm.
draw attention to the issues that were happening. So I found a group of persons that were of similar mind in terms of for the good of Barbados. Like I said, I can't speak to what went before.
But right now in the DLP, you are finding that people are wanting to do good for Barbados. This is a crop of people that's what you experience right now.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. And when did you have to did you tell your family you were going to speak? And what was their response to that?
They would have found out before before the night. I was kind of neutral. Wife would have known it is something that I was capable of doing because, like I said, I can't speak. If I have something to say, I'm not afraid of the crowd. Children, I would tell anything on them.
All right, no,
But
no
yeah, they they
problem.
they support me. They often get to hear me talk politics on the mornings when I was dropping them to school over the years. So long before contemplating being close to any political party, they would have heard me discuss a number of issues. In fact, I spoke of this on Sunday night, where I mentioned how I often ask them the question, tell me what that person did not say when we
Yeah.
hear news reports, because as I say, I'm raising them to think, to reason, to analyze. I do my own version of civics, not the civics that is currently being done at school, where they truly understand civic mindedness, not just learn a few basic facts about the structure of parliament, but they understand what is needed for the good of the country. Unfortunately, a lot of persons only think the good of the country as defined by a particular party. I tend to go for the good of the country, even if that goes against what might be preferences or best wishes for a particular individual. We look at what's for the best of the country. And
Mhm.
if we claim to be a democracy, the people's voices need to be heard. The idea that because you won an election with a significant minority, that you don't have to listen to the people, that you will just govern, which is to say, do what you feel like doing, and the people got to take it one way or the other. We don't care because we were elected to govern, and I have my reason why I say that. We were elected to govern, so that idea is I think is nonsensical. The people do have a voice. So, as far as the children are concerned, I've always taught them to think, to reason, to analyze, to identify issues, positives, negatives, and so they were very familiar, certainly, with my views on politically, and how I tend to analyze issues. It is
Yes.
not that easy to pull a wool over my eyes.
Yes, well, we could see that. Guys, share up the live, share up this live, share the live, share the live, share the live. This we're speaking truth on this platform. We're educating on this platform. You really need to now. Okay, so the election is over, and Felicia did not win. What is your what were your thoughts? What was going through your head when you heard the announcement? Because you would have been at the canvassing. You see, you're part of it. What are your thoughts? What were your thoughts about that when you listened to the reports?
So, during the campaign, you saw a lot on the ground. You saw a lot of that reminded you why the state of politics and play in Barbados is where it is. Boy, did you see a lot of money being spent on the ground, and the stories and the accounts being heard. I generally think there's way too much money in politics, and reform is absolutely needed in that regard. When she didn't win, I take the approach in life that every experience that we go through, however bad it is at the point, and however much time it might take us to come around to this position, that every experience we go through in life has something in it that we can learn from. That, obstacles, difficulties can either be stumbling blocks or stepping stones, and I take the stepping stone approach. In fact, that is something that I preach to my children. The best thing we can do with the past isn't to mull and sulk over it, but after
Hmm.
a period of accepting whatever that reality is, the best thing we can do with the past is learn from it. So, you look back at the experience and you look to see what you can learn from it.
Yes, I mean, since August and even a little before that, the DLP was going through a hard time, and they took a big hit. um some people believe that the St. James North by election, that they should not have done it. They should have opted out of it. Others thought it was a gift to the DLP. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think that they should not have done it, or do you think it was a gift to the DLP, and if so, why?
As far as not doing it, well, for sure that decision is way above my grade. But the decision, I definitely would have wanted them to contest the election as they did, because the election campaign provided a number of opportunities. It allowed our candidate, Miss Felicia Dujon, to get that experience to grow as a candidate. It allowed other
Mhm,
candidates. There are a number of young candidates. There are many first-time candidates. It allowed them to see the machinery of an
mhm.
election campaign. So there's value in that. So I definitely didn't think that they should opt out. And importantly, it allowed us to bring a number of issues of national import to the fore. So
Mhm.
we were able to get a lot of facts out there, where persons hear from the party's thoughts, views, positions on a number of things, but also to highlight a lot of issues from the past 7 years, particularly that would not have come to the fore otherwise. I mean, government isn't exactly going to point out when it's wasting money. Whereas on Monday night at Cemetery Lane, opposition leader Ralph Thorne was able to point out very specific a number of areas in which the taxpayers' dollars, the government is treating the taxpayer dollars as its private purse to ingratiate others. So it allowed us to bring these issues to the fore, have discussion out there. And as I pointed out in my final comments on Tuesday, it allowed, so with that content out there now, persons can look, persons can see. I made the point that if you're relying on mainstream media, what we call mainstream media, whether it be print or the local TV station, if that's your own source of news, or God forbid, if your only source of news are the social media influencers, you're in trouble. Because
Yes.
opposition leader did reveal, and when I went to check for myself, I saw, yes, government minister admitted that they were paying social media influencers who they saw as nuisances. Why, instead of being a nuisance, why not just pay them and get them to work for us? So my thinking was, it allowed us to get information out there that is now out there, so persons can go and look. And one of the things I've been seeing to individuals, in addition to like and share, you are able to reach your friends, your close contacts, your family members throughout the length and breadth of Barbados. You have discussions with them every day. Use those opportunities to highlight and to discuss the issues that are affecting our country, the issues that are affecting your cost of living, the issues that have led to the crime situation being where it is now. So I encourage persons, in addition to liking and sharing, you can point them towards specific parts of the various broadcasts, and there's a lot of content out there now, and have those discussions with them to help stir them, help them to see that Barbados does not have to be the way it is. And I'm not at all taking the approach that, oh, just vote for the other party. I speak of a change in how we do business. We're like, for real, the people are your first priority. I'm not talking about token gestures like $300 a few days before an election, and I can come back to that. But where the people for real are your first priority, where you're not going into politics to get rich, do 2 terms, get the pension, and then you're gone, or just stick around a little longer because the power is addictive. We're like, for real, you're looking out for the best interests of the people. So, to get persons to see that things can be different. It doesn't have to be a case where we stand by and watch politicians, ingratiate themselves, and the poor stay poor, and no, they'll do what they'll do. So me, I ain't getting involved. I just mind my business, just trying to eke out an existence. But yet, the very decisions that these persons make are impacting our life significantly. I came across a Plato quote recently. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The price good men pay, the price we will pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men, persons who do
Mhm.
not have our best interests at heart as their first priority. Because officially we are still supposed to be a democracy, you will get those token gestures, but not that that's our first priority. Looking out for the people has to fit into the bigger goal, which appears to be looking out for yourself first.
Yes, yes, yes. So what do you say to those people who are using traditional media? I mean, this has been said on traditional media, social media, by those who are paid as well, and people are liking and sending it around that the DLP is dead and there's no future for the DLP in this country. What do you say to that kind of thinking, and what has been actually said into the atmosphere about the DLP? What are your thoughts about that?
They must think they're God. God is our judge. They must think they're God. God is our judge. Um, the party that I'm currently a part of helping is not dead. It has something to say, and it is going to keep saying that, exposing the issues, discussing the issues nationally, and pointing towards how things can be different, how things can be better. But to pretend that there are not issues, to pretend that there haven't been significant missteps by this government over the past 7 years, is to lie to ourselves. There's no denying. We highlighted a number of them on the platform. Different speakers had varying emphases. I highlighted certain things, but there have been issues. There have been major blunders for which there was no apology to the people of Barbados. Not even a half sincere apology. I mean, like none at all. No apology. There have been issues for which we weren't worthy of an explanation. We weren't worthy of an explanation. Opposition leaders should not have had to point out a number of times about the prime minister's travel, only to get half of the story being told. I leave that there. Um, so there are a number of issues I in particular highlighted, and I said it every time I spoke because I think it is very significant. Our
Yeah.
flag, and to get back to this, our flag. We have something in Barbados, you will know, Marcy. We have a pledge, and it says, "I pledge allegiance to my country, Barbados, and to my flag, to uphold and defend their honor, and by my living to do credit to my nation wherever I go." So it means that when I go to a foreign land, I am not supposed to stand up there and watch people put my flag in a grave. Which part of that is allegiance to my flag and doing credit to it? No apology, sincere or otherwise, that I'm aware of. And then the matter of the disenfranchisement of thousands of voters. So callously, we can't pretend that these things didn't happen. And then the things that opposition leader exposed on Monday night, how the public's purse is being used as a private piggy bank, jet setting all over the world, with the idea being that, oh, we are
Mhm.
bringing in business, and tourism is doing great. Tourism really is doing great. If tourism is doing as great as they say, why do we have to keep borrowing as much as we borrow? Why is the taxation burden what it is? Increase in tax recently, because just yesterday, because that is what the additional fuel cost is really additional taxation. Why, if tourism is doing as great as they say, are we still in this position?
Yeah. Wow.
So there's you know, the party will continue to speak and bring these issues to the attention of the public, and you know, look to get more persons involved, paying attention to what is happening, because when we sit by and do nothing, we have to live with the consequences of these decisions. Persons who are looking out for themselves, you know, we talk about the taxation, we say how it impacts the cost of living, and how significant that is. The persons making the decisions don't feel what most of us feel. The majority of Barbadians, as I said, you know, on last on DLP TV, make far less than 6,000 a month. Whereas we have a group of folks who believe they're entitled, you know, of pedigree and otherwise, um, but they're comfortably making north of 15,000. Ministers 20,000, and when you add in the per diem from travel and being chairman of this committee and that committee and all these other things that have been set up, you know,
Yes.
I mean, you're looking at remunerations that are easily into the twenties of thousands per month. So fuel pump is not an issue for them. You know, the expensive breadfruit in the supermarket is not an issue for them because they have
Yeah.
more than enough money. But for the majority of Barbadians, it is a significant problem.
Yeah. Would you, I can't even believe it. We only have 2 minutes left, and I see Mr. John is waiting there. Can I, you know, I know that you can see, I believe at some point you can see Dr. Wickham on the DLP TV on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I mean, you're free to come back anytime on this platform. But before you go, sir, I would like you to speak to those who a lot of them in the comment section, they're giving advice to the DLP and so on. What do you say to those people who are on the fringe, they have not become members? They are, you know, they like the DLP. They like what they saw, for example, this weekend. I mean, this week, that the campaign, the 3 weeks of campaigning. What do you say to them about about the importance of joining the party and not just sitting on the sidelines? Can you do that in a minute?
Well, the party is certainly encouraging persons to join. I mean, the president would have pointed it out at the end of the last broadcast and the options in terms of how to get the information for joining, whether it be at the headquarters, George Street, contacting there, or candidates. Oh, so you know, the party, yes, is encouraging persons to join, bring their thoughts, ideas, assistance. But at a minimum, what I would suggest, even if a person is reluctant to join and doesn't want to join, and I can understand why many persons may take that position because that was me for a long time. So I'm certainly not going to rail on anyone for not wanting to join. But at a minimum, we have to pay close attention. Don't let persons pull a wool over your eyes. You have to pay close attention. There's a lot of information out there. Campaign is over. The information is out there that you can take your time and have a listen and share with others who may be on the fence or who can't be bothered about what's happening, and to highlight to them the importance of paying attention to what is happening. I mean, we had a government that knew before they gave you $300 of your own money, they knew how they were going to get it back from you. I mean, they have no shame, none at all, no shame at all, at all, at all. They had already worked out how they were going to get back from you. So I say to persons, when we see things like this happening, and time wouldn't permit to get into to all the other issues, but a lot they were highlighted during the campaign. You know, we have to hold this government's feet to the fire. The idea that because they are elected, they can ram whatever they want down our throats and we have no say, that is wrong. It is flat out unconstitutional. The people do have a right to have a say in the affairs of their country, and you know, X at the ballot box, you know, on polling day, station at the polling station on election day. It's not the end of it. It is not the end
Yeah.
of it thereafter. So you know, clearly the party is you know, looking advising for persons to come and join. But I would say even if you do not want to join, and I totally get it, I understand that I was there. You can offer your support outside of being a member, and certainly at a minimum, you have to pay close attention to what is happening to your country and listen not just to what elected officials say, but extremely important, listen to what they do not say. They're very good, and I gave some examples during my speech Sunday night. They're very good at sharing information selectively to
Hmm.
mislead and
Yes.
hiding behind the words they use.
So, just to reiterate, you have been part of the DLP for a couple months, and what you see is a group of people working together, trying to do the best for the country. So you heard it from Dr. Wickham. That is his experience in the DLP. Now, sir, the very last question, which is a yes or no. Are you related to Peter Wickham?
Not as far as I am aware. So I certainly have never met him. My mother has never mentioned him. When asked, she's not aware of a direct relation. There are not too many Wickhams in Barbados, so it's entirely possible that we're related, but it would certainly have to be a distant relation, not a close one at all, not that I'm aware, but it is entirely possible. My mother, who would have been Wickham, never mentioned being aware of him. So as far as I am aware, no, I'm not. If we are, very distant.
Thanks for clearing that up. I heard that he said you were related and saying where you lived, and I realized that none of that is actually true. So that's quite interesting. Sir, thank you so much for coming on. I really wanted the people to get to know you and know why you're doing what you're doing. And it's an inspiration to me as well. I want to say thank you so much, sir.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you. God bless.
Yes.
Oh boy, that was simply amazing. And I see Mr. John is waiting. And just as you can hear my voice, I'm just going to refresh myself and come right back to you. We're going to go right into, we're going to listen to a little bit of classic. And at the end of it, I'll be sitting right here.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Aye, aye, aye. Oh, yeah, yeah. Aye, aye, aye. Walaka. Can't drive on the road at night, cause you come with your lights so bright, like you want blind me for spite. It is overbearing. Me and you never had no war. Why you spot the light on me for? Is it accidental or you just so uncaring? Every day you bout here complaining all the things that ain't going right. From now on I will be explaining which place you could spot the light. Spot the light in the parliament and see who is looking out for you or barely fooling we. Spot the light in the right places and find out who is on the people's side and who's selling out. Don't put it on me, you joke. I don't be at no port when girls coming in. I am sure cowboys and Indians, no, don't put it on me, you idiot. When taxpayers' money waste, don't spot it in my face. You better spot the light on who run the place. I don't run the government, I know if the computer. Don't spot it on me, Bozy. Spot the light on the BLP. Oh yeah, yeah. Aye, aye, aye. Walaka. Blinding you with the LEDs. Them that are doing as they please. Don't tell the authorities I feel violated. Go spot them in the treasury, then you will see if the economy living off borrowed money that IMF dictated. Light is a great disinfectant. Use it, don't abuse it at night, cause all that hide in the darkness must come out in the light. Spot the light in the board meetings and see who is representing you, or the rich minority. I want you spot the light in the right places and find out who is standing up for you or just running them out. Don't spot it on me, no way. I don't have any clout, no power, no say, but hey, and I ain't got no land to give away. Don't spot it on me, you idiot. One for you, another one quick, don't target me one bit. You better spot the light on the cabinet. I may drive and get annoyed, check my front and touch a boy. Don't spot it on me, you insane. You spot the light in the wrong lane. Why, aye. Walaka. When you see me on the road at night, make sure that you dim your light. I give you valuable insight. Time for activation. Aim the light, aim it all about. Human cockroaches running out. Places you would never dream about. Need illumination. Wickedness reside in high places. Time for you to make wrong things right. Corruption is hiding dark spaces. In Barbados, let there be light. Spot the light on the police, you can choose. Some are real professional, some protect the shoes. Spot the light in the courtrooms and find out why them hardened criminals out here walking about. Don't spot it on me, you're free. I can't give a big speech and got the whole world, so I'm based. All now I still getting praise. Don't spot it on me, you're free. I ain't looking to get that George Street. I know who get dust or beat. Spot the light out in Robert Street. I never tried to meet with Trump or get sent fed up man to jam. Don't spot it on me, yeah good. Spot the light in Lara Court. Crime out here getting worse. Spot the light on the AG first. I ain't laughing out none. Spot the light on the Calypso man. Admiral my degree. Spot the light by my friend Gabby. I know what good for my health. Spot the light by a blink himself.
Spot the light, spot the light. Well, speaking of spot the light, this woman has been for 3 weeks and more spotting the light on the issues in St. James North. She was spotting the light on the people in St. James North. And I give to you none other than Pocket Rocket. Good night, Felicia Dujon.
Good night, Marcia. Good night to your audience. And how are you doing this evening? I noticed that you lost your voice.
Yes, I did. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but
Okay.
but something occurred. Something occurred, and I couldn't miss this of the world.
Yes,
I
great.
still have to be here and to have a chat with you. The people were asking for you, so I'm so happy that we were able to do that this evening. Well, ma'am, you look refreshed.
I got some rest yesterday, but a little exhausted today because I did go back to this constituency to thank everyone for the efforts and the work that they have done for us. So that's what I've been doing all day today.
Hold a minute. You're
I can't
telling
hear
me
I can't hear her.
you're not hearing me?
But yeah, I can hear you, but not loud enough. So I can hear you little. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. All right, good.
Great.
Thank God. All right, good. Now, the election was today's Friday. The
Yes.
election was Wednesday,
Yes.
and Friday you were back in the constituency, Pocket Rocket.
Yes, I was. It's my duty to go and thank everyone for the hard work and effort that they put in. People came out, people were there to support us, and I think it's important that I return in my soonest time to thank them for the efforts and the work and the encouragement.
Wow, that is simply commendable. Simply commendable. And I hope you don't mind me calling you Pocket Rocket, because Shelley and Fraser Price is who they call Pocket Rocket, and she's of the same kind of stature, move
Yes.
very fast. She
Yes.
wins. Yeah, she's always moving. But that is simply commendable, ma'am. But let's go back to that process, the knowing that the by-election was called. What was going in your mind? What was going through your mind when you were told, well, they actually called the by-election, St. James North is up, it's May 21st. What was going through your mind, Mr. John?
It was time for my team to get ready to represent and defend the people's rights. We had to take every opportunity to speak on behalf of the people and to amplify the concerns that they had. So whether it was in St. James North, whether it was Bridgetown, whatever constituency, it didn't matter. The mere fact that we are here, the Democratic Labour Party, we are here to defend the rights of people of this country and to defend the country in and of itself. So it didn't really matter where exactly going to be called. But
Right.
St. North was particularly of interest because this is where the first place I lived when I came to Barbados, as I've said before. So it
Mhm.
was more than an honor to defend them and to find out what exactly their concerns are and why the past MP had to resign or retire, whatever that he chose to do at that point, but also to ensure that their voices were heard. And I think it immediately it triggered that we need to get active and we need to go directly to the people and find out exactly what is going on, because we can't defend the rights of persons if we do not know what is happening on the ground.
Yes. And so you knew that you had to get your team together to go. Oh my Lord. And you know what? When I'm looking at you here, and this was actually what which day was this? Was the day of nomination day, right?
Correct.
But before nomination day, you had to go to, to pay to
Correct.
pay the deposit. And so, you pay the deposit, no turning back now, right? Deposit
Yes.
is paid. I must ask you something. I was there when you paid the deposit. Did you deliberate to bring your passport?
Yes, I wanted to remove all doubt because the Barbados Labour Party used part of my nationality and part of my heritage to use it to attack me. So I thought it was very important to do that, but also to show that every Barbadian, it's not about what your history looks like. It's not about where you were born. It's not about anything about you. This mission is about the people, and it doesn't matter if you. And it brings me back to the Bible. When God chooses people to work on his behalf, he doesn't care what you've done before. He forgives you and you just come in and work. And that has what it has been for me. It has not been my nationality. It has not been how tall or short or big or where I live, where I've lived before, where I was born. It only meant that I need to go in and help and that it was my duty. That was the only mission that I thought at the time.
Yes. So when you're looking at this picture on the screen, so you paid the deposit. It was no nomination day. What's going in your mind right now? All eyes on you, Mr. John. The cameras are there, the microphones, the phones, everybody pointing something at you. What's in your mind there?
Amplify the voices of the people, find out what their concerns are. It's really about the job of what I was tasked to do. It was not about the media. It wasn't about all of that. It just happened that was part of it. It was part of the process. And the reason why I say that, because the majority of times when we had to do those press conferences, I was like, no, I need to be in the community.
Mhm.
This is not, I want to do this and I know it's part of that, but most important thing for me is getting to the people, because we didn't have much time. And I had to utilize 3 weeks when someone had 14 months. And
Mhm.
so I had to try to manage my time correctly and ensure that it is effective as possible.
Yeah.
And so every minute, every second was important to me, because it could have been a family that I needed to intervene on their matter. So every second was important to me. And that's perhaps why I got that name, because I had to move very quickly to try to navigate the terrain, to try to navigate and to reach as many persons and many families as possible.
Yeah. There are people who might say, Mr. John, um, you assembled the team after it was announced. And what people don't, I think some people are forgetting, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that after what happened in the DLP in August, you had to take time to rebuild the party.
Mhm.
So I want to know how much did that affect the preparation. You had a major hit in August, last year. You had to come up with candidates and all of that. Do you think that affected you guys not being in the constituency before it was announced?
That's a very good question, Marcia, because when you think about it, as human beings, when you have those experiences, of course, it will impact on you, it will impact on the persons around you, and of course, members. Many members were traumatized as to what happened on that day. when we had the convention, and I believe that you were there as well.
Mhm.
So those matters, as human beings, it will affect us in different ways. But I think what was tremendously different was that everyone understood this is the Democratic Labour Party, and we need to come together to serve the people.
Mhm.
It's not about individual interests, it's about serving the people. And I believe once we understood that, everyone got together. And it's kind of very unfortunate that we have political analysts and all of those persons that do not support the Democratic Labour Party is telling the public something quite different from what we know and what we feel and what we sense and what we experience. They're trying to create an illusion that does not exist for us.
Yeah.
So that's very important, because when people do that, it's a form of gaslighting. They're telling you about a reality that does not exist, and they're telling you this is what it is when we know differently. And I think what the Democratic Labour Party has continues to do is to show that this is not the case. Yes, we had internal matters, but these matters have been resolved, and we have continued, and we have moved on a very long time ago. And I think people gaslighting, and you've seen it even now with a by-election, and you're hearing the political analysts that are very judgmental and biased in the assessment. It's very subjective. It's not objective where they can look at the bigger picture. Everything is doom and gloom for the Democratic Labour Party. And that is expected, because they seem to be more aligned with the Barbados Labour Party. So they will say anything and not
Yes.
look at what's happening in the Barbados Labour Party. As it stands, we don't have any allegations of people being set up for rape or anything of that nature. As it stands, we haven't fired people for standing up on their rights to speak on behalf of the people of Barbados, considering in terms of the whole town civic center. There's so many issues that the Barbados Labour Party is dealing with, but those political analysts are not saying anything. They have ignored it. They have kept it quiet, and they continue to gaslight the Democratic Labour Party. So
Yeah.
we are used to those biased judgments. We are used to the gaslighting. We are used to the abuse of authority. Why I say abuse of authority is that you're seeing persons that are claiming to be professionals and analysts in their professions that are misleading the public.
Yeah.
And by doing so, it gives the public the ability to analyze what is going on. Because if we're telling you we're in the Democratic Labour Party and we're telling you, well, yes, this has happened and this is what is happening now, and then you have an analyst that is not in the space where we are. We have an executive council, we have a general council, so it's not one person dictating what happens in the party as opposed to another party. So we have to be very careful where we get our information from. We have to be very careful what we take as factual when we
Yes.
know it's not. And as I said before, it's very unethical for people to use their profession to misguide and mislead persons. And I
So-
believe that
So let me ask you a question there, Mr. John. Very important points you're making, but and listening to you, I have to ask you this directly. So people who believe that the 3 weeks, saying that you only had 3 weeks, and the one person here actually saying that that you had three. You're saying you had 3 weeks, but the opposition leader and everybody knew there was a by-election coming. What I gather from you is that you were trying to get yourselves together after, the big blow that you had in August.
But
Is that
then
what you're saying?
I'm saying that not particularly, but what I'm
Okay.
also saying is that the minute we had an opposition leader in our party, the minute that we were able to restructure the party, we were preparing for election.
Mm.
And our political leaders said that at many conferences, that
Yes.
we are prepared. We had already ratified some of our candidates. We had them, we brought them to the public space and all of these things. So we were prepared. So even if they say that we had 3 weeks, as you saw our campaign, we were prepared.
Mhm.
There was not any time that we went on a platform and we were not prepared. It was not at any moment. We were prepared within 3 weeks. We were already prepared. The very same day that by-election was called, we had a press conference. The candidate was introduced. The very next day, or in fact, I think the same day, we were already in the constituency. And so these are some of the things that we need to look at, because it seems that we were unprepared when we were not. And when we look at the results, and I was glad that the analyst or the so-called analyst was able to look at that. But if you have a candidate that tells you that they won by 2,700 votes within 14 months, it means that they were only able to influence, 192 persons per month? We had 486 persons in 3 weeks, not a month.
Mm-hmm.
Basic maths, unless something else tells me. And it also tells us the percentage of the persons in a stronghold that came out to vote, which was only 36%. And it's a stronghold. You'd expect 60% in a stronghold. So that means the majority of Barbados Labour Party supporters did not come out to vote. And that should raise some very dire questions. And I don't understand why we're talking about a big win if you can win with that kind of number. So there's a lot of questions I think the political analysts need to they need to be objective about.
Yes.
And I wish to inform the Barbadian populace that politics is not only about numbers. It's not about just sitting and looking at numbers and figures. It's about the people and the concerns and how you intervene on the people. And I think that is what is very important. So in as much as there is a big win, there are still persons that have been disfranchised, disadvantaged in the last 7 years. And that is the policies and that is the position that we stood up for, that we will fight for their rights against a government that claims to care, but really does not care, not even about the people that are in this stronghold. And it had not take the Democratic Labour Party or by-election to raise those concerns, because these were ongoing concerns. And I'm hoping that now that they have regained the reins of governance in that constituency, that perhaps they will take those matters seriously this time around.
Yes. Well, I mean, you were there, I think it's every day since it was announced. Is it every day you went?
Correct.
You were in that constituency. You still had 2 young children. How did you manage all of that?
It was difficult. And I didn't expect that question.
That's okay. Just relax. We're women. I have children.
It was very difficult because, and I'm glad in some sense that you raised it, because people believe that women in politics have it very easy.
Correct.
We're supposed to get up like our male counterparts and just go ahead and do like the male counterpart. I don't think he has to think about, or they have to think about what we have to think about. So I saw my children and I made it my duty to see them in the morning. So I would wake up about 5 in the morning, sometimes 4, wake them up, get them about 6:30, 7, because I would have to get ready for between 7:30 and 8 so that they can go to school and so that I can go into the field. And sometimes when I go to the field about that time, I would be back home about 2 in the morning, sometimes 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. So I never really got to see my children until probably 5, 6 in the morning. So that's the only time I saw them.
So that was a lot of sacrifice.
Yes, but they understood. They understood that I told them I was going to help children like themselves.
Yes.
And so when I met on a weekend, I would tell them what are some of the things that I saw, the good stories, how many mango trees and different mango trees that I saw, and the toys that some children had. And I met little boys like in their age, and I told them the names and, little things that got them excited. So they would want to hear, what are the stories that you have today, Bob? What happened today? Where were you today? So I try to share those images and experiences that I have.
Yeah. And as a female, I can tell you, when you turned up to pay your deposit, and when you turned up at the nomination day, women felt so proud. You looked so good. I tell you, as a female, I said, yes, bring it, rocket, bring it, my girl. I mean, and you, that was something that you were so, I mean, you're always dressed well, but your femininity came out so strong. on those. I mean, all of it. But you're getting home 12:30, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. How you get it put together so fast?
Yeah,
How
but
you do it?
I think that I'm a praying woman. And so many times there were times that we couldn't do it and we just had to get up and go. As I said before, you just do not know the door that who opens that door. Because every door you open when you knock on, you do not know what you're going to be exposed to. And so we always had to prepare ourselves. We always prayed in the morning before we went out. When we came back from canvassing just before lunch, there was a church, the Catholic church is right across the street. We would go in there, pray, then go back to the field, because I think it was very important that we did that, because there was a lot of issues that you had to deal with. Oh,
Yes. And then you would be there, and you're hitting the pavement, and then you're on the stage at night,
yes.
actually, speaking and dressed up, and all of that. I mean, that is just amazing. That's a woman carrying so many different, we're managing, so many different things. But you did all of that work, lots of work in the constituency. Were you surprised at the numbers of people, the number of persons that voted for you?
Well, surprise, I think I was not. I'm not sure how I could answer that question, but just to be honest with you,
Mhm.
I wasn't really following the numbers per se, because in my mind, I had matters to intervene upon. There were so many issues that I had to address that, yes, I knew they had to go out to vote, which was one part of it. But the other part is there were people that shared with me matters that I had to intervene upon. And my main focus was allow them to vote so that I can continue going to do the work the next day. And that's all I was thinking about. That, and I know it's a voting day, that even on election day, we noticed the numbers were very low. We were driving around in the polling stations and the numbers seemed very low. And I understood that, whatever will occur. But I still went around to look at people and constituents that I knew had very grave concerns. I knew they wouldn't have gone out to vote because of the conditions that they were in. And it was very interesting that while persons are thinking about going out and vote, there were people that at home and they're not thinking about going out to vote. They're thinking about, what am I going to eat today?
Mhm.
So these are the kinds of questions that we need to
Mhm.
ask.
Yes.
Very serious question. How am I going to send my child to school? So just remember, previously I was interacting with those constituents, and it's not something that is rampant in the constituency, but there are cases. And when you come across those cases, it really hits your core and it never leaves you. And you keep thinking how I can intervene, how can I help those individuals? So in as much as you want to win what you're doing, and it's elective politics and you want to
Mhm.
win, you have met those persons and you see what the concerns are. And to me, the most important part is, let me see how best I can resolve this
Yes.
matter, or how can I intervene on this matter. I have a household with 3 disabled persons that can barely help themselves. Who can I get to intervene on their matters? So what I have been doing strategically is that I have been able to place the different concerns and needs into categories, and I will be addressing them in different divisions when the time is right. So it's not a matter of whether we win or lose this. It is a matter of me wanting to still serve and work into the constituency. I feel obligated. I feel a
Mhm.
sense of duty to do that because they place their trust with me.
Yeah, yes. And that is really tremendous. But I want to ask, you were there with the people, and I saw how they received you. I was there that first day. I saw how well they received you. In your heart of hearts, what do you really think? Why didn't they come out to vote? What do you think really happened, Felicia?
Well, you have to understand what was happening at the time. because when a by-election is called, the assumption is perhaps the political analysts did not want the Democratic Labour Party to participate so they can have more negative ideas or more negative thoughts and claims to say that we were unprepared. And so when we did arrive into the constituency, so when you were in the constituency yourself, as a citizen, you drive up and down. Sometimes you go visit families and friends in the constituency. But when you go way deeper into the constituency, then you really get an understanding of what is happening. And I believe that the government didn't expect me to, or us as a team, to go directly into the constituency itself. They think perhaps we just should have done the surface like they have done, like just touch certain areas that seem important to them. But we made it our duty to visit every part of the constituency, every street corner, every village. And that is when I really had to raise the alarm and let Barbadians know this is what is happening in this constituency, and these are the concerns that we need to raise. We have persons that are very empowered in the constituency. They have persons that are it's a very multicultural society as well. So you have a variety of different nationalities in Barbadians, and then you have different Caribbean nationalities, CARICOM nationalities. You have different professions. You have a different demographic in terms of age groups. Yes. And so but I think what is very important is that every society has to take care of the most vulnerable. And so in as much, I would remember going to a house with a young man and a grandmother. They lived in a very beautiful house.
Yeah.
And him, and I was just speaking with him, can you support us? And he said, no, we're okay. I said, what do you mean okay? He said, well, we're comfortable. As you can see, we're comfortable. We don't really need to. But then when we look, and I'm saying, there you are telling me that you're fine and you're okay, you don't need to vote at all. But a lady up the street, not too far away from him, has 3 children in the house, and only 1 or 2 of them go to school, because she has to negotiate who's going to go to school depending on what funds that she has or what kinds of commodities that she has. And so you're seeing in terms of the inequalities that exist, houses apart, and not even streets or villages, but houses apart. And I think that is what is very important, that we really have to look at the most vulnerable. We have to take care of the most vulnerable. And I think this is what propelled me, that I wanted to reach. So even when my canvassing team told me, Felicia, we've gone there and we've good, I'm like, no, I need to go see for myself. Because I always, not to be gender biased in any way, but I think mothers and women see things differently.
Yeah.
And we were able to speak and touch other mothers differently as well, and fathers as well. But I think my critical eye and analysis of conditions and concerns, like a constituent will tell you, well, we have this concern, we have this matter. So they brought me some places in Yearwood Road where there was like a brook with water coming down. And when I looked at it, I said, well, all of that water is eventually going to go to your basement and destroy your house. Yeah. So sometimes people may not even foresee the dangers that they're in. And I guess because of my innate wisdom in some cases, I'm able, because in some cases I was older than the person in the household or the head of the house. I was like, you need to look at that because this is dangerous. And so these are the kinds of areas, because I always think that a representative is not only someone that comes in and help, but we're supposed to provide guidance and counsel for our constituents. I had to intervene on the beach where 2 brothers wanted to fight. I was like, so I'm like, oh goodness me, I didn't, this is not what I came here for today. Yes. And they're having to intervene and telling, well, brothers, come on. Not today of all these. I can, look at you all, you're way bigger than me. But I had to mother them. I had to say, well, this is really not a good situation. So there are many instances I had to intervene on a personal level to show persons that this is not how. So as representatives, I think these are some of the things that you're not only looking at in the issues, but you're also providing guidance for those individuals within the constituency as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that you're able to rattle off the issues because you did the homework, you did the work, you're now categorizing the issues and so on, and you went back in the constituency today, and that,
I
that says you are ready to go again. You're ready to serve, etc. Well, let me just let everybody know that the line is open, and it's on the screen. Let's just move that comment so that we can see the number that you can call in to speak with Miss Felicia Dujon, Pocket Rocket. Call in and have a conversation with her, everybody. But while you're calling in, I'm looking at you and I'm remembering you're talking about the constituency. I mean, it's almost the place intimately. That's where you lived when you came to Barbados. You came at 16 years old.
Well, I used to come here at 16, like just visiting my brother, but I officially came in 2003 to live,
Ah,
to study.
to actually live.
I used to live right across from the Western Fishing Market upon that hill near the community center. That's why I was very angry about the community center, because I remembered what it looked like. I remember the kinds of activities that used to take place in there. And so it was very, very concerning that this is what it looked like now, knowing what it was before, and how members of the society and the community had a place where they could have gone and socialize and do whatever kinds of social events and interaction that was best for them, for the youth and children in the community as well. But I
Yes.
think what is very important, it's not just going back and thanking those individuals. When you meet people, Marcia, and I think that's something about me in particular, and I think about most persons, when you meet someone and you have a good rapport with them, and they know that you're coming to do your work, but at the same time you have a good joke, a good laugh. So me, it was just going back like, I'm still here, I am okay, because people will call in to wonder, what are you okay, Felicia? How you doing? We know you got a loss. And I gave that joke last night that I received a call, was it the Thursday afternoon, and this elderly, she's probably about 84, and she called me so excited. She's, Felicia, I saw you on television. Congratulations, you came second. You did a great job. So, and that's the joy that you get from the elders and from the persons. And I went in today, and many of the constituents were very happy and pleased to see me. They said, I was wondering about you. I was like, well, I told you I'll come back.
Yes. Well, that is good.
He
We
let me
have
know about that.
we
Yeah.
have a caller on the line. Go ahead, caller.
Good night, Mrs. Dujon. This is one of
Good
your
night.
partners, Miss Judy Jones. I'm glad to see you, and I will always be there with you, stay with you, and be at your side. And we always have a good Democratic Labour Party. We are not
Yes.
fighting among each other, and I
No.
love the way that you master your way of walking with the people, talking with the people, and you're a humble lady. I love
Thank
you, and I would always love you, Miss
I
Dujon.
love you. I
Yes.
love you.
She says she loves you too.
I,
I hear that. I hear that. She has a humble voice.
Yes, yes.
We will always be there with you. Whenever you any what do you call it? Canvassing, whatever, and you want me still, I will be always there with you. Don't mind, I might got my other people too when the general election.
But you want to make sure you're helping Mr. John.
yeah, and I
Yes,
think
and
that's what.
she's a humble and nice lady, and there's nobody has the humbleness like her. She's so sweet. When I first met her, I thought she was a little girl, but I didn't know she has so much spunk.
I love it. Thank you so much, caller. Thank you. She's appreciating it. Thank you. Yes.
Bye.
Bye bye. Okay, there's another caller coming in. A caller, good night. Yes, good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. Okay, 1 second. Let's get you speaking a little louder. Thank you. Yeah, can you push your voice or turn up your phone? Speak louder. Speak in the phone. Thank you.
Yes, Mark. Yes.
Yes, go right ahead, sir. We
You
want to
can hear
hear.
me now.
Yes, we want to hear you. Go right ahead, sir.
Have to do John today that all of us are behind her. She don't have to worry. And God is with her. She's going to get through because she's a wonderful person. And
Thank
tell
you.
her, keep working hard. 'Cause I'm watching everything that's going on. You see everything that's happening in Barbados. People got to open the eyes. You see that she give us $300, and then today now another tax again. You see that? People ain't watching what's going on. It gonna be worse if they don't be careful because people ain't looking out for one another. They're looking out for that party, but that party ain't keep then people don't care nothing about them. You understand? And tell me, Mark said what we want you to do for me, right? I will let you to send Rob's phone number. I need to speak with him.
Well,
I don't want that everything.
yeah. We'll speak about that. I will have to send you. What I can do.
And have a good night.
Yes.
What? She's gonna
Thank you
get
very much.
Yeah, but caller. Just look. You have to call the DLP office. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yes.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Thanks for calling.
I tell her enjoy her night. I tell her have a good night.
Yes,
Thank
she's
you very
hearing
much.
you.
Thank you very much. You as well, sir.
Yes, Mr. John. I think somebody is writing here. I love your spirit, Mr. John. Your time will come sooner than expected. Keep believing. Right. Okay. Callers, remember the line is open. You can feel free to call. I know there were people calling from overseas today who said that they were going to call. So if you're listening, don't get shy now. Make sure you call the number. Yes, make sure. Mr. John, what would you say would be the greatest lesson or the greatest lesson you've learned in these 3 weeks?
Humility and being humble, and that's what you have to persevere. You go to a house that tells you, well, I'm a bee, so what are you doing here? And then you say, I'm here to help you too. And because of that, they see that you're not just coming to get a vote or be political. They take you into the house, they show you outside, they show you what the concerns are. And I think that is what is very important, that the greatest joy of being a politician for me is advocacy, is speaking on the rights of persons and ensuring that their rights are heard.
Yes. Yes, there's a caller. Good night, caller.
Yes, blessings to you, Felicia Dujon. This is Tori Hall, one of your comrades.
Good evening.
And I must congratulate you on being a strong lady. It will take a lot of people to go do what you do. And the honest truth, I love your spirit that you got this enlightenment inside of you. And trust me, God, the Almighty God is always going to be with you.
Thank you very much.
The way how your spirit is, trust me, you are chosen.
Thank you.
You're chosen.
Yeah.
And my love is for you always. Even if in election, if you want to go in your constituency, you got my support. I will ride with you. I will go door to door with you and help you as much as possible.
Thank you. I'm holding that to you because there's work to be done. So be free to call the office. I will be starting my programs very soon. I made promises. I made my priority to ensure that those programs and those interventions are done. So I will need the help, whether it's through voluntary, it's financial resources. And I'm sending that message out to the entire Barbadian and diaspora that we will be working in the constituency. It is our duty to do so. We do not know why God placed us where we are. And I think it's important that we do the work. And perhaps this is why we are here today. Perhaps this is the results that we have so that I could work in the constituency, because we know that Barbados Labour Party is not going to do what it says it's done. It's been there for 35 years. So I will continue to do that work. So I will be in the constituency. My office is still open in Rogdando. There's a number of programs will be rolling out very soon. And I'm hoping that all Barbadians, and including the members of the constituency, come on board so that we can do the real work of the constituency.
Yes. So you need help. Thank you.
I
Thank you so much, caller. Thank you, caller. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There's yes, another
Okay.
caller.
Programs will be rolling out very soon, and I'm hoping that
Yes. Good night, caller.
Good evening, Marcia.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, Ms. Dujon. Hi,
Good
I
evening.
just wanted to say something. Earlier, I think a caller said that Ms. Dujon came second, and I think that they said it best. I don't think that this was a loss for her, but an awareness of who she is. And I think that what is going to happen in the general election is that people now are going to be on their toes. I like this woman. I think that she deals with heart. I think that her heart is really big. I think that she really, really cares. And I think that she is going to be really great. I think, Marcia, one of the things that I had said, I think in the chat, I think this woman has the potential to be even Prime Minister of Barbados someday, and I want to wish her the best, and we will continue to support her.
Well, thank you. Where are you calling from?
I am calling from New York City. I have been following the campaign. I think that she did a fantastic job. At one point, I saw in the paper where Chad Blackman said that she called him fat, and I knew that that was not true. And I said it. I have been really supporting this woman because I think I see a lot of you, Marcia, inside of her. I see a lot of me inside of her. We deal with a lot of heart. We really care about people. And I see that when things affect the people, it also affects her. And to me, that is what a leader is. A leader is not about self. They put people first and they put themselves second. So going forward, I hope that we in the diaspora can do something to assist and help her. Because I think that this is really a candidate for Barbados. We really, really need some person like her.
Yes, and she just spoke about the programs that she's going to start in the community. Did you hear that she went back in the community today?
No, I said yesterday, if I know this person, and I've never met her, but if I from the things that I've seen from her, I could not see her not go back to the community the second day. I felt like yesterday was a day of rest. She needed that because I heard her voice was kind of like how yours is. But I know that she was going to be on the ground and she was going to be working because that's who she is. That's her spirit, So hopefully, at some point I will get to meet her and do some work with her. I love community work. It is what I've been doing for a lot of years, and I hope that at some point I would be able to assist her.
Well, thank you so much, caller. Mr. John, anything you want to say to the caller?
Yes, of course. As I said before, we'll be rolling our programs very soon. I did send in my manifesto specifically for the constituency because we looked at what are the concerns, what are the issues are, and we aligned them with solutions, and we'll be working on those solutions. We'll be rolling them out very soon. And so if anyone wants to donate, you can just give us a call and we will ensure that the donations are there. So we'll be working with children, we'll be working with single parents, both fathers and mothers, with the elderly, and these are some under youth as well. So we'll be rolling out a number of programs that targets those individuals, including entrepreneurs in the community and farmers, because we do have some young farmers in the constituency as well. Also the fisher folk, we have programs specifically designed for them. It's about empowerment. We have to give some kind of donation, and I did say that children in the constituency, I believe that swimming should be part of the life skills that they should have. I did hear that the country has a swimming program, but many schools do not have swimming programs. And I have done my research on that. So I have been able to allocate a particular location and swimming instructors. So we just need the support so that our children could get those programs.
Yes, thank you so much.
Program as well. We have a program.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your kind words. Thank you very much. Very encouraging.
Okay,
thank you.
Yes. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. Caller, good night.
Hi, good night, Marcia.
Yes, good night, caller.
Show. Hello.
Yes, good night, caller. Welcome. Go right ahead. We can hear you.
First, let me congratulate Miss Dujon for coming in second.
Thank you.
Really, it was a hello.
Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear.
Well, okay. I'm not hearing you, but I know it's your voice.
Yeah.
So I want to congratulate you, Miss Dujon, for coming in second. Don't forget we had 4 people in that race, and you came in second. The person is quite correct. You came in second. Now, you did answer a couple of my questions, but what I want to ask you, which category do you think was more receptive to you in the constituency in terms of was it the young people, the older people, the males, or the females? Who was more receptive to you? We know some of the older folks could be setting the reins. What obstacles did you have to overcome to reach them? I know you didn't have much time to sit down and talk.
Right.
Who was more receptive to you?
I think it would be more of the mothers, the single mothers. And I think this is why I raised the alarm on their behalf. And also the elderly. I met a number of the elderly, and as I think one of the callers said that they thought I was younger than I actually is. They treated me as a granddaughter. So one of them even told me, you turn 19 or 20. I'm like, no. I'm way older because I'm small in stature as well. So that's probably, but I think the elderlies, there's a genuine love of our elders. And I think that's something why I love our Barbadian and our Caribbean culture. The elders always look after the younger ones. So that to me, it's really motivating. But my concern is the challenges that they have to deal with. And I made an appeal on their behalf that the government really needs to look at the taxes that it imposes on citizens. Because when you impose taxes, it does not exclude certain members of our society. So one of the concerns that many of the elders in that constituency would be the sewage tax. And because of that sewage tax, many of them were able, the waters were cut off. To this day, they do not have water at their home. And you could imagine these are persons that may not have children in the community. They may not have family members that live very close by. So then you have people in the community that bring bottled water to them. And I mean, we can't treat our elders that way. I grew up with my grandparents, so it really hurts me very deeply. It cuts me deeply when I see that, when I come to an elder's home and they're telling me, I mean, just the physic can tell you they can't be carrying water. And I appeal to the government that this is something that you need to look at. If you want persons in the society to pay those taxes, then okay, then put an age or demographics on it. But I think our senior citizens should not be paying such high taxes and then they cannot afford the water bills and then it gets cut off. So these are serious matters that we need to look at. We need to look at in terms of when they go to the supermarkets. So some of them really cannot afford. I have seen and I've heard cases, and these are people that are members of the constituency. When I speak with them, some would tell me, Felicia, Ms. Dujon, I am a B, or Ms. Dujon, I'm a D. But this is a situation that we're dealing with. So they'll tell you very early, but they will tell you, listen, this is what we're dealing with, and we would like you to raise the attention. Because I've told persons I do not see color or party. I'm dealing with people. And when I pass around, I don't see a color or a red door or blue door. I just see a door that I need to knock upon. And then they come out. They're human beings. So these are the matters in terms of the cost of living. And it's very, very difficult for our elders. And I think it's important. If we're talking about having elder legislation and we taking care, we have a ministry that is responsible for elder affairs. I should not be going to a constituency where that has been predominantly the Barbados Labour Party's presence and dealing with elders telling me those stories. If I had a bucket, Marcia, I'd carry it and bring it for them, knowing me.
Yeah.
If I had a hose, I would attach it somewhere and bring it for them. But the reality is that these are the situations that they have to deal with on a constant basis. And I think it's important that we have to look at that. In terms of single mothers and single fathers, we have to understand it, the casualty of the taxes, whether it's high cost of living and having to do. And I did ask that question. I did say that many times, that we need to give our single mothers and fathers a monthly subsidy. It's needed. If we can give everyone $300 on a one-off, or what it's called a solidarity, I think we need to be solidarities with our single parents and do it on a monthly basis, because they have children of this country taken care of. And as a mother, I understand that. And so our government and the representative, the newly elected representative, need to look at deeply and ask on behalf of the single mothers and fathers of that constituency, please, I'm begging on their behalf. Because when we say single parents, sometimes you only think of mothers. I met fathers at home taking care of their children. And it's you need to applaud them, because you don't get to see that.
Yes.
And we need to help them, intervene on their behalf. If it's $300 we can give them every month, it will block a hole. It will do something. It will buy bread. It will do something for them. But we need to do that. And it hurts me that I have to plead into a government that says that it cares about people, it cares about citizens, but we're not doing the things and the intervention for them.
Yes.
I had a mother that told me that, I'm only voting for you because of my son, and her son is 4. But when I saw him, for some reason, our spirits just, it just emerged. But when he came, he reminded me of my son. So when I see children, they remind me of my children.
Yes.
So I speak with them on that kind of level. And she said, I don't vote, I've never voted in my life. But because my son is talking about you, I'm going to go and vote for you.
Well, that's a good thing. And
so these are
the caller has another point.
These, right. So these are the kinds of person, the demographics.
Yeah, she's asking your question.
Yes, in terms of the hearing that about 5,000 people did not come up to vote. What do you think was the reason for that? I'll put down and listen.
Yes, and I think that's a very
thank you, caller.
Thank you. I heard that question. I think it's a very important question, because we're hearing one number from the electoral boundaries, and we're hearing another from the prime minister, and we're hearing another from a political analyst. And so that kind of inconsistency is something that we need to, get in the public and make sure that it's accurate. If you call it a by-election, the first thing that you'd want to do is that the voters list has been cleaned and the voters list is accurate enough, and people don't have to make arbitrary judgment on it. We should have had a very clean, updated voters list, and not halfway that the prime minister is saying one number and somebody else is saying something and we have something else. So all of those inconsistencies, it raises an alarm. In terms of the
Hello?
5,000.
Yeah. So can you just hold the line there?
Yes,
There's a caller, but let her finish. Just take half a minute.
I think what has happened is voter apathy. People just they just don't want to do it anymore. They don't think that the vote makes a difference when you have a government with already 28 seats and the government is a reigning government. And Mazio and caller and viewers, we have to be very realistic and honest about the society that we live in. If you tell someone, I'm going to fix your house, I'm going to give you a job, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that for your vote, and then you have Felicia Dujon coming and trying to encourage persons to be empowered and all of the other things that really matter, that can develop who you are as a person. People have to think about what is more important in this crisis. They're living in a crisis. They need to feed their children. They need to feed their appetite. And so these are the kinds of questions that you have to balance it out. I met an elder. He must have been in his late 70s.
Mr. John, if you just stick a pin on that, don't forget it, because I want to hear that story. But because the caller is on, just please note that story and let caller go right ahead, please. Good night. Welcome to the Marcy Week Show.
No problem. Good evening, Marcia. Yes. And good evening to you, Ms. Dujon. I followed your campaign right through as I did the other team. I have been there. One, lost, one. And I know what it is to come out of a campaign as you have. 3 weeks is not easy. But you know what? You look as if you could go another 3 weeks. A long campaign. So it is telling me that you're a woman of substance and strength. Let me also congratulate the rocket launcher, Mr. Thorne.
Yes.
Yes.
Ralph was not supposed to reach where he reached
Yes.
2 days ago. In other words, he was supposed to fail along the route. He didn't know. He was too full of himself. He was this. He was that. You couldn't get I was following it. You couldn't get a campaign house, as we call it. You didn't only get one. You got two. You wouldn't get canvassers. You wouldn't get speakers. I followed everything, and you were intact. Now, I'm going to move straight to an issue that is baffling lots of commentators. But before I get there, let me take this opportunity to say to one of the political commentators on the VOB the other evening, a new one, maybe the newest of all, who said that Mr. Thorne spoke only to having you in Parliament, and he did not speak to issues. Nothing could be further from the truth. Mr. Thorne started his campaign from the estimates because he knew what was ahead of him. He knew what was it, and he handled it most dignified and most organized. Marcia made a statement there about you're going to backtrack when she said how wonderful you looked on nomination day, etc., etc. And that brings me right back to a statement which a British politician, Dr. Shirley Williams, who was, I think she was with the British Labour Party, but they had a fracture and broke away. And she was a very eloquent and sharp individual, bright person. And she said to the females who wanted to get into politics, never lose your femininity. Remain as feminine as you are. Let the men do what they have to do. And that is something that the moment I saw you, it resonated once again.
Thank you.
But getting back to the campaign, you have nothing to be ashamed of, I think, or overly concerned about. I think that, and having gone the course, I know about what I'm speaking. I think I did a by-election. Yes, I think I participated in the Lawson Weeks, a former Speaker of the House, a by-election which was occasioned by his passing. And I got another one under my belt. I officiated with Cynthia Ford by-election occasioned by Mr. David Simmons, who had resigned. And I can tell you, a by-election is not easy. But when I see where you have reached in such a short space of time, I am more than pleased. Now, a problem which is bedeviling the commentators, the writers, the analysts, and this is what is causing the people to stay away from the poll. And I am saying to you, even if Ms. Sybil Leacock or the late Owen Arthur had run in the Den seat, I don't even think with Ashton Hall and those other, the Vim and the other Roadview, which was part of the St. Peter territory previous, I don't think they would have won the election. I tell you what, you came up against a cabinet in the field. A cabinet in the field. When your ministers are out, don't fool yourself. Ministers are there and they go and they knock on doors and people tell you, man, look, I want a job for my child and I want a flat. All right, ma'am, hold on. You pass the application form, you tell them, see me, oh, go and see this body, go and see that. Oh, go to the hospital, go to the kitchen, or go to sports. You did not have that facility.
No.
The other facility that came smack bang, before I get to that, you did not have the facility to entertain people in as grandiose a scheme as your opponents, both at East Coast Road and then at Port. We didn't have that wherewithal. You and your little means, you did what you had to do, But then the one which broke your neck, or should I say break your, but the one which was your highest step would have been the grant The grant which came smack bam in the middle of the campaign for anybody who is 18 to 81 to 91 to 101. It is very hard when a government makes available such a facility for someone who was with you and was seeing times hard, not to say, well, you know what, I'm not going out. I'm going to keep quiet. I'm going to say thanks by not going out. Or I'm going to say thanks by supporting the other candidate. And if, Marcia, you were to walk down Broad Street or to go through, you're good at interviewing, and you were to ask most young people, 45 and under, do you believe that a politician or a candidate knows for whom you vote? They would tell you yes in the street.
Mm-hmm.
About 20, 25 years now, 20 or so years, yes. When I first went into it, it was not as often, no, growing up, it was not as often said. But when I got into this field, I was saying this thing, man, politics, you fellas is know who we vote for and this thing and that thing. And one night, I think it was after a campaign, I got a call well after midnight. And you know how it is, coming from a big family, and you get a call at that hour, you think it is some emergency. So I was really shaken. I said, hello. And I could hear this noise in the background. Mr. Gilman, you know that you always know who we vote for. I said, man, look, don't bring this kind of nonsense to me at this be already. Sorry, Mr. Gilbert. I said, but you let me ready. Let me hear what you say. You know that when you come out and you fold the paper and you hold up this and the matter, I said, listen, all of that is rubbish. You think a man really had time to carry that nonsense in his head? Yeah. If you tick or didn't tick or X or for whom you put the X, man, be off. But I'm putting it to you, Marcia, that more than 75% of the people in that category to which I've just referred believe that Ms. Dujon would know for whom they voted, or the other candidate would know. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Yes.
But
yeah.
You see what happens is, when you have been treated or promised by a candidate, you say to yourself, you know what, if I go out there and vote, chances are they might think I came to vote for A or B rather than A. So what they do, they withhold their vote. Mm-hmm. There was a time where you collected up, one person collected up all the IDs and held them for the next day and rounded up his troops and carried them or led them to the even then you don't know for whom you vote. You don't even know if the person did it today.
Okay.
So that is the part that it isn't anything to do if you bring let's say a team of rascals that you would get the block more, or if you bring a team of footballers or cricketers and football. It is what it is. And I think the administration is more concerned to see that Mr. Blackman got only 187 more votes. As the Bajans would say, fresh and milk, he could only get 187 votes more than Mr. Hinkson at his last showing, and I think it was his poorest showing. Yeah. But you know what? From the time I saw that, I said, this turnout has to be south of 40%. So I was not surprised when it was 36.
36, yeah.
You know what it is, Mark? You've just added close to 1,000 more votes. And the incumbent now, Mr. Blackman, was only able to get 187 out of that one, or close to 1,880, almost a 9,000 pool. So that constituency is going further and further down, like all the other constituencies in the north. And I spoke to you about that some time ago, and I told you. So you asked the question: had it not been for the landing of the grant midway election, had it not been for the nice festive occasions, etc., had it not been for the promises, would have Ms. Dujon been beaten by that margin?
Yeah.
And to that I say no. I am going to put it to you that I worked it out, that removing all of those incentives, that seat would have lost another 750 votes.
750.
And that is my analysis. I have gone from way back with Mr. Eastman's first entry into that constituency, and I've seen it grow with Mr. Eastman. Then I see it. There was a spurt with Mr.
Right.
With
There's
Mr.
a caller. We only have another half
I'm
a
very
minute.
sorry. Yeah, I'm going to wind up. I know I had a mouthful to say, and I wouldn't be back on Sunday or next week. But I had to say it now. I didn't intend coming on tonight, but when I saw Ms. Dujon, I said I would come and congratulate her.
Yes, thank you so much. I mean, we need to talk off air about that analysis. Okay, I'll give you a call.
Okay.
Right? Thank you, caller. And that's a former. He's a former senator. I believe that's David Gale of the BLP. Of the BLP party. Yes, go ahead. And any comments on that? You had a story you were telling us as well.
I think the story I was saying is when I met the elder waiting outside from 7 a.m. and hoping that someone would have come to take some measurement to give him an indoor bathroom. And when we got there, it was a little bit after 2. I just saw him sitting on the steps. I was like, okay, well, I introduced myself. And me being curious as ever, I asked him, how you were just sitting here all day. He said, yes, I have been sitting here since 7 a.m. waiting for them to come because he told me they would put an indoor bathroom for me around this time. So I told him, well, here's my number just in case that they don't show up. Give me a call so that I can raise some concerns on your behalf. And I think this is what we really have been doing, that those matters, they have been existing for quite a number of years. You hear the same story everywhere you go. You hear the same story that neither the past MP or the party itself did not provide the intervention for them. And it was very disappointing for me personally, because I would assume that you have a government that is the ruling government, which is the Barbados Labour Party. The least they can do is to help people. You have the resources, you have access to resources, you have access to power and authority. So you should help. And I think that's what is very important. And if I get the chance to say that, I will say at this moment that all members of the Democratic Labour Party have to realize their responsibility and duty, that they need to report to base and start working on behalf of the people of Barbados. The reason why I'm saying that is because it seems that the Democratic Labour Party is the only party that actually cares about people. It's the only party that seems to want to rescue the people from what is going on currently. So we need everyone to return to base and start working on behalf of the people, especially what we have seen in St. James North. The reality is that whatever is happening in St. James North is happening in every other constituency. And I believe when our candidates from those constituencies start to speak on those matters, we will see the similarities that exist. And so it's important that we need to start speaking up, and it's important that our members, our loyal members, return to base to do the work that is required. And one of the reasons why I'm saying that this by-election was not about Felicia Dujon. This by-election was about the Democratic Labour Party continuously working on behalf of the people, ensuring that the voices are heard. This is what our responsibility and role as an opposition party does. We have to raise the concerns of the people and to intervene in whatever matters. And our intervention, because we're not in government, our intervention is to hold the government to task. That you're saying that you are in government, you have the facilities, you have the resources, you have the ministries, you have the agencies, but you're not doing the intervention that is necessary. And I think the Democratic Labour Party's members, those that have stayed away, and I've noticed that some are now saying that they will be coming, come home. The country needs you. Our people need you. You need to come home to help and assist me and other members of the party that has been working. And this is our responsibility. We have a mantra, we have a mandate to serve the people.
Yes.
And it's our duty to serve the people. And if you say that you're a member of the Democratic Labour Party, you should by now know that there's a sense of urgency that you need to immediately report to base.
Yes. Thank you so much for that call, a call to action, report to base. We have a caller on the line. Good night, caller. Okay. Oh, somehow you're not. 1 second. Okay, speak up again, please.
Good night, Mrs. Weeks and Mrs. Dujon.
Okay, we're not hearing. Okay, I'm not sure what's going wrong there. Speak again, ma'am.
Can you speak?
For some reason, can you hear?
I can hear you.
Okay, we're hearing now. Go ahead.
Okay. Good night to both you and Mrs. Dujon.
Yes, good night, ma'am. Can you just
Good
speak a little louder?
Okay. I have been following Mrs. Dujon's campaign. Unfortunately, I did not get to meet with her. I am disappointed because there were a lot of issues that I wanted to discuss with her. I didn't see any member of her campaign team. I never got a flyer, and I sat there night after night. In fact, had I not listened into Marcy Week's show, there's a lot I would not have known. So I thank you, Mrs. Week, for doing what you were doing. But I think that was a flaw in the campaign, that the campaign did not spread out. It's what I call the foot soldiers, spread them out, and then feed back to Mrs. Dujon who she needed to see. Mrs. Dujon, I'm 69 years old. I am disabled. Like you, I was not born in this country, but I live here by choice. The things that matter to me may not matter to the person who is just elderly. My mother is elderly. She doesn't face my challenges. She's 90-something years old, but she's not disabled. She's just an old person. And none of the issues from any party, DD or independent, we are the unseen and the unheard. The children, you speak about children. I don't hear you. Children who are disabled and their parents who have to look after them are the most vulnerable. Not the mother that has regular children. They're not vulnerable. They may be disadvantaged, but they're not vulnerable. We have a community of young, disabled people. Sometimes the parents don't even have the transportation to get them to the special schools. They miss out on everything. That is my heartstrings there. When you talk vulnerable, I don't see old people, because aging is a natural process. Being disabled, you can be disabled from birth, or you can acquire it during the course of your life. And until our demographic can be seen and heard, you are not going to connect with us, whether it's in St. James North or any other constituency. We are the unseen. I have been to the town hall meetings, and I've said to the Prime Minister, we are a third-class citizen in this country. Forget the legislation that they just passed in the House. I was eager to see you, but I am not giving up. If your office is going to be open at some time, I'm going to come and see you.
I'm coming to see you tomorrow.
You can hear it directly from us. See how we have to live. You understand me?
Yes, caller.
Yes.
She's saying she's coming to see you tomorrow.
See how we have to live, and some are worse than me. So
My telephone number, I am sorry that I didn't get to see you.
I applaud you for being brave enough to face this constituency, because I can tell you it is not an easy constituency to win. But continue the fight. The by-election the general will come, and if you do some course correct some of the things, you will do better. But you must listen to opinions that do not always agree, because you may be surrounded by an echo chamber that is telling you what you want to hear. But people like me, who I consider myself independent, I don't vote B nor D. Whoever is the best, I will vote.
Yes.
But if you don't give me a chance to get to know you, then you yourself are missing out.
Yes.
So I leave it at that, Mrs. Week.
Yes, caller, we so appreciate you calling and being, and stating your opinion. She's going to respond now. What you can do is to listen.
I sent her a WhatsApp message on her WhatsApp number.
Okay.
She sent it now?
Her WhatsApp.
She sent it now?
You sent it a while ago.
I sent it a couple of days ago.
Okay. So I will look at that. But as I said before,
Yes,
I will.
Thank you, Mrs. Dujon. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you so much.
I want to respond to her. I want to personally apologize to her. As I said before, I tried my best to get to every household as quickly as possible. And I did meet some family members with disabled students and children. But there are some matters I didn't want to bring to the public because of how intimate and personal it was. I didn't want to. So when I generalized this conversation, I generalized a lot of it. When I say people with disability, it includes children. I don't exclude. I don't segregate when it comes to disability, who should be seen more and others. And I believe that it's important that we look at those issues. I have met single mothers with those issues. I met a family with 3 children that have different learning disabilities. Their main problem is not only taking the children to school, but also housing. And I spoke about housing. The many of families, this is what they need. They need adequate access to housing. I met a number of disabled persons. And I think when you see those kinds of concerns, it brings a sense of deeper concern, because we had an MP that was champion or so-called championing on the rights of the disability community. And not much has been done in his own constituency. I know that I can hear the hurt in her voice.
Yes.
But also hurts me more. It hurts me more because I didn't get to see her. And I wanted to see them. Give me a moment.
Felicia, as you take your moment, I know, and people are going to think it's crocodile tears. I know this woman, and I know, and I understand her. Listen, as somebody says, Pedro is saying the campaign made her more that was busy.
I will see her in the morning. I will see her in the morning because I know what I saw and the crisis. So what she's telling me is, I know it's real. These are the real issues that, so at the end of the day, it's not a matter of who won the election or who did not. These are the issues that I tried to reach out to. And even when the campaign was done and everything was done, I still said we need to go back. Because even today, I went to certain homes that I missed. And because of the time, I tried to work as late as 10 o'clock, sometimes 12 o'clock, where it's still, because I wanted to reach everyone. And I feel really hurtful that I didn't get to see her. And I didn't get to meet other persons in there. But I will make it my duty to reach out to those persons. And my apologies for the emotions, because I saw a lot of those kinds of concerns that was not being addressed. And it's important that we reach out to those individuals, because they need the intervention that is needed. So I will make it my duty to see her. My number is there, so I will go in and try to see her as early as possible.
Yes. Okay. No problem. You said your number is there where?
It's 242-7984. I can put it in the chat so that.
Yes. Ask somebody to put it
242-7984.
7984. So if you're in that constituency and you want to see Mrs. Dujon,
I will come to you. If you need me, if I missed you, and there were some persons that received my note when I was going, because I did even though the canvases went out, I wanted to see them myself. So I was doing my own personal canvas. Even though they went, I did my own, because I wanted to meet them on. So when I came, they said, well, I never met you. So on the day of election, I knocked on the door and the gentleman said, well, I never met you. I said, well, I met everybody else. Perhaps you were not at home that day. And then he explained to me. So when I came to see him today, he said, well, look at when look at when we meet again. So I met him on election day and I met him today. And he felt very pleased that I came back, because I think we are dealing with human beings. And so we have to do better. We have to do better.
Well, thank you so much. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to the Marcia Week show. Thank you for calling. Go right ahead.
Yeah, good night, Marcia, and
Good night.
good night, Ms. Dujon.
Good night.
I am very proud of the campaign you all put on this time. I was very impressed. And at no time did I hear the other party respond to any of the issues that were asked.
They're not.
Everything they went to, they dealt with everything other than what was being talked about on the platform, because you want to know about the effing bank, give away the land, you want to know about the hope from whatever you call it, or the hopelessness. All those things were talked about. And then to come and give you $300 of your own money, and well, people needed it, so they took it. I ain't had a problem with that. But the girls put on a fantastic campaign, and although this was a testing ground, because there's a great dissatisfaction with this leadership of Beverly, and people are watching. They watch the March Week show. They watch the campaign, so they know, and they're not happy. But we need to get them out. People need to get out and understand that this is a very, I would say, corrupt government, very corrupt, and they're very good at deceiving people. So I don't swallow the Kool-Aid that they're bringing, but I know that this general election coming can be a different story. You are the testing ground, and we can deal with them during the next election. All the money that they got can't help them.
So, sir, before you go on, I want to ask you, you're a DLP supporter?
Yes, I am, and I'm a member as well.
And you're a member, and did you hear Mr. John's call about being active, going out and being active in the party? Is it something that, because she needs help in St. James North in a practical way?
For the entire country.
Yeah, I have all my
I need help. And that's my appeal to all loyal members of the Democratic Labor Party, past and present.
Yes,
I
and I pledge
do this on my own.
Coming election.
Yes, go ahead, caller. He was responding to you. Go ahead, caller.
Right, I'm saying that, but I promised my friends that for the coming general elections, I said for the coming general election, I am going to be canvassing in the neighborhood where I was born. That is in the Bayland area, because I find that Mr. Humphrey is a very arrogant person, and I can't deal with people. The arrogance is overwhelming in that party. They're an arrogant bunch now, and they need to get them out of there because they're destroying this country right now. They are.
Yeah. Well, thank you, caller, for calling. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Mr. John, I know anything you want to say concerning that while we wait on another caller. Okay, we have another.
I think
actually have another one.
I think it's important for us to.
Okay. 1 second. Caller, turn down your devices, please, or turn them off.
Give me a camera break, please.
Good night, Marcia.
Yes, good night, sir. Could you speak a little louder, please?
Thank you.
Yes. Good night, Marcia. My name is Mark, and I work in that campaign with Miss Dujon, and I'm willing to give her my help anytime. I just work during the day, and when I get time off, I will leave work and I will come and help Miss Dujon.
Excellent.
I will do that, right? And I will always help her because I work in that campaign the last 3 weeks there that she was in, and I'm willing to give her my support anytime. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yes, good night. Good night. She's hearing you. I know
Okay.
she's hearing you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other caller? We'll take one more caller for the night. Yeah. Mr. John, that was a caller.
Yes,
Who?
I heard the
Yes.
caller. Thank you very much, caller, and we look forward to your support because this mission is not about us; it's about the people, and we need to do whatever we can. We can do our very best to support all Barbadians, and it's not just the constituency of St. James North, but all Barbadians at this point in history are suffering, and we need to intervene on their behalf. And we can see it. We see what happened today when the cost of gas has gone up. So we can almost imagine what the struggles are like now. And so we have a government that really does not really care about its citizens the way that they should. And I think it's important that we have to do this. We have to help every single member of the society. We can't leave no one out. Absolutely no one should be left out. And that it's why I believe that's why it hurts me, because I wanted to meet as many of our constituents. And I'm again appealing to all members of the Democratic Labour Party. You need to come out. Supporters, members, past and present, you need to come out. Now is not the time to be holding whatever concerns or feelings or whatever that you had of the past. We need to come out and vote, because what the Barbados Labour Party is doing is gaslighting you and making you feel that you don't have a duty to this country or to this party. You need to come out and do what is responsible. You made a pledge and a duty. And I think all Barbadians know that as well. Not only the Democratic Labour Party, but all Barbadians. This is the time. The time is now. The time is now to rise up and do what is necessary for the development of this country. We need to do what is necessary at this point. We cannot be coming here talking about persons and having persons coming out and pleading for assistance, while we have a government that is wasting our taxpayers' funds in all different ways that should not be done. And I think this is the time that we need to stand up and rise and come together as all Barbadians without any kinds of hindrances. I think that now is the time to do so.
Yeah, it's a call for those in the DLP, or your members, and even those who are not members, and you believe you in your capacity, whatever the capacity is. Mr. John is saying to come out and help.
They
And
need to.
as in I talked about expanding the opposition. Some of you are listening. You're independent. I know that we have quite a number of persons watching here. You're neither loyal to the DLP or the BLP. You're an independent voter, but you recognize, though, Mr. John, I would say to them, they must recognize the importance of expanding the opposition, and so. And the fact that we don't want to be a dictatorship, which is what is happening now. So we all have to get involved and help. I would say, even if you're not a member of the DLP and you see something they're doing and it's good, get involved and help, because we cannot become a dictatorship.
No, we cannot. And it's something that is called the tyranny of the majority. They're tyrants right now because they have the majority. So whatever legislations, whatever laws or policies that they want to impose on the people, we just have to, we don't have a choice, more or less, because they have the majority. But I think that people understand what is happening in this country. We can no longer remain silent. We can no longer pretend that it's not happening, or live in a world that seems very, I don't even know the term. It's not an illusion. It's a reality that we're living in.
Right.
And these are real.
One second, caller.
Persons.
Yes. Okay, go ahead, caller. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good night.
Yes, welcome.
I am calling about the election watch on CBC. Hello?
Yes, sir. We're hearing you loud and clear. Thank you.
Wait, just a minute.
Yeah, turn off the device. Okay, thank you.
Yes, I'm calling about election watch on CBC.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Good.
The other lady, the Democratic Party lady that was there, she's Dr.
Dawn Marie
Warren.
Armstrong. Dawn Marie Armstrong.
Okay. She was the lone person here against the other three. That is one. Two, Liz Thompson was in there, and each time the moderator asked her a question, her question is about the Democratic Party. She ain't answered the question yet. She get in there and she told some lies. She said that the first murder rate was in the time of the dance. So I want to know if the dance was in power last year when it had 52 murders.
Sad.
Yeah.
And it's just gaslighted.
Yes.
Propaganda. It's just propaganda to assume that the Democratic Labour Party is not prepared and all of the negative ideas. You have not heard anything positive. But I, again, would like to applaud our comrade, Dawn Marie Armstrong, for holding the flag on that day for us. Because what is important is to show that the Democratic Labour Party have very strong women. Our women are still here and we still hold our heads high and we are not disfranchised in any way, contrary to what has been said. And I want people to see that, to see the realities of the falsehood that's been spread and the propaganda that has been spread by the Barbados Labour Party.
Yes. Thank you, caller.
She's very strong.
Yes.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
If it was me, would have walked over there from the insults.
But she's a strong woman. Thank you so much, caller.
Yeah.
Great observation.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we will we'll close the line because it's after 10 and we want her to get her beauty sleep. Yeah. But Mr. John, before you go, I would love to get your thoughts on, you're in the party. You were there before, you're there now. Right? You were, when I say before August, right? Yeah. What happened August? I know it's tough for you guys, but it's a milestone. Sometimes you remember it, and you're moving on from that. I want to what's so different between what's the difference between August and now in the Democratic Labour Party? What is so different?
I think we have a strong leader. I think we're more focused. I think that the ability to speak freely, the ability to have ideas come together. You've seen the team that we have together. We've seen our candidates. We've seen how we're able to mobilize for a by-election within a day or two. And so the Democratic Labour Party is a party of over 70 years. And so that should tell you that we have our ups and downs, but when we're ready to work on behalf of the people, we put our boots, we put our emotions aside, we put our self-interest aside, and we go and help the people. This is what it has always been about. The mission hasn't changed. Perhaps the mission changed for some persons, but those that were here and those who have stayed, the mission has remained the same. To serve the people, and it's our duty to serve them. And I think that's what's very important about it.
I said no more, but I feel like I'm gonna take this one call, okay? Because they all told me they wanted to speak to you. Go ahead, okay. Caller. You're the last caller, and I'm done. Go ahead. Welcome. Good night.
I want to
okay, no problem. You okay, ma'am?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she wants to speak off the
Okay.
So
okay.
I noted something you said. The difference between August and now is that now you have a strong leader in Ralph Thorne. I suspect you're saying, and your leadership team, and that you said no, you can speak freely. That wasn't the case before. You couldn't speak freely.
I am not saying that we couldn't speak freely in that sense, but I think the mission now is that we have seen from August to now how emboldened this government has become. So our mission has to remain more focused. And I think that is what it is. So now our candidates, as well as the people, we should allow the people to speak as openly as they can. And I think that's our spokespersons on the various areas have been speaking. Our candidates have been speaking. And you had an opportunity. There was a period of time where the government wanted to silence people. Silence the opposition, silence, because their claim was that we were not in parliament, so we don't have to listen to you. We don't have to, so now we are in parliament. Now we have someone that can bring up those issues and challenge the government and keep them in check. It changes everything. It changes the perspective of the society. But I think what is very important is at this point that Barbadians understand, that citizens understand, that it's not only the Democratic Labour Party that have to fight this government, it's everyone. We need every single member of this society understands that where we're heading, and it's not looking very good. This future does not look very good right now. And we can see that. We can see it. We can see in terms of the crime. We can see in terms of their cost of living. We can see in terms of the harsh laws and policies that are being passed. The cybercrime bill. These are the kinds of concerns I think that we really have to be aware of. And when you think about as a citizen, you always want to ensure that you have a government that will protect your rights. That's what government should.
Yeah.
And when you have a government that uses every opportunity to infringe on those rights in different ways, however subtle, and does things, in other words, that there are times where they would pass certain legislations or have different types of negotiations and agreement in secrecy. This is no longer a government we can trust. I mean, their own members don't trust them. If you're trying to set up your own member, and it's I'm being humorous, but it's the reality. Their members do not trust them because their members do not know what is happening. Now we're hearing that the now elected person for St. James North may become the leader of the party very soon. So what does that say?
Yeah.
What does that
to the others that the others that are there.
Focus on the Democratic Labour Party, at least our party has settled and we're ready to do the work on behalf of the people. And you notice that for the entire by-election, what was the conversation from the Barbados Labour Party as compared to the Democratic Labour Party? We touched the issues of the people. We dealt with the issues of the people. While the Barbados Labour Party, what really were they talking about? I don't think anybody remembers what they were talking about. Except the slogan, go big or go home. We're not going home, we're still here.
And you were there today in the constituency. Well,
so yes.
Mr. John, this is where we close, and I always give my guests at least a minute to just say that one final word to the people of Barbados. What do you want to say to the people, not just St. James North, but to Barbados?
I want Barbadians to remain vigilant. This is a government I don't trust. And I think as a mother, I don't trust them because I have children here and I want the future to be secured. We see how they've been spending. We see how they've been borrowing. And I think we need to look at that. I believe that Barbadians know that there's a pending general election. And I think that is the time. This is the time that's the only time we can speak is during our election. We're not allowed to speak against the government. If you speak on social media, they try to silence you and bully you. If you speak in the open space, they try to discredit you, whether it's by how you look or how you speak or where you're from. All of these things, the pulpits, they try to discredit you. But the only time the government cannot silence you is from your democratic right to vote, your franchise to vote. So I'm appealing to all Barbadians, prepare for that time. The Democratic Labour Party, we are ready and we are prepared to serve you. And I'm telling you this because I know this. I have been working with the party for the last 3 years and I understand the mission and I understand what is required and we understand what the mission is required. This is a party of 70 years. We know how to govern. The Barbados Labour Party acts as if it's still in opposition, always on attack mode. And they're not doing the business of the people. All they're concerned about is winning elections and not taking care of the business of the people. So I believe that all Barbadians should be on alert, that the general election will be called very soon. It is your responsibility to change the face and the future of this country. And whether it's not a Democratic Labour Party mission, it's a Barbadian mission. This is for the country. And I don't think we have to come every night to tell Barbadians the realities. They are living the realities. They know what is happening. They know what's up. They understand what is going on in this country, and it's no longer a facade. It's no longer illusion. These are realities. We're hearing people's cries and it's been ignored. I think Barbadians are waiting for the election. And though some of you did not vote for the by-election, you have the opportunity to change that. We do not have much time. We know what is happening in this country. We need to stand up, rise up, and do what is right as law-abiding citizens in this country.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much, Miss Dujon, for we felt you were representing all of us, and we want to thank you for the sacrifice, your family sacrifice to your family, your personal, it's been a personal sacrifice. I can see that, and we want to say from the loyal opposition, thank you very much.
Thank you
for attempting to expand expanding the opposition and in Parliament, and we will continue to support you and any candidate that is seeking to expand the opposition.
We're not to expand the opposition. We come in to get the government, and we want to get in to ensure that we do what is right by the people of Barbados.
Yes.
I think the Barbados Labour Party does better in opposition than in governance.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. I didn't get to tell you, I love that I love theater and all that. So I love though you had it's a hat on.
Oh, yeah. It's a bee mask.
The bee
mask. Right. So it's a bee hat. Basically what it's saying, it's symbolic that we're not going to be stung by them. We're not going to be stung. We're going to protect ourselves.
Excellent. I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
And
great job. And let me just say to Mr. Thorne, Thorne, the political leader of the DLP, you did a fantastic job. And to Senator,
I will tell my husband thanks as well.
Yes,
he's working hard. He's been working hard.
And to this Senator
Andrew Worrell.
Andre, yes. Thank you. This is the president. Thank you so very much. And the whole leadership team, Pedro. Thank you, Pedro Shepherd, because they form a leadership team. And that's how it's seen. That's what it is. And thanks to everybody who participated and who made it happen. Those who are in charge of canvassing. Thanks on behalf of the loyal opposition. God bless you. Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, bye-bye.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Aye, aye, aye. Oh, yeah, yeah. Aye, aye, aye. Walaka. Can't drive on the road at night, cause you come with your lights so bright, like you want to blind me for spite. It is overbearing. Me and you never had no war. Why you spot the light on me for? Is it accidental or you just someone caring? Every day you about me complaining all the things that ain't going right. From now on I will be explaining which place you could spot the light. Spot the light in the Parliament and see who is looking out for you or where the fooling we. Spot the light the right places and find out who is on the people's side and who's selling out. Don't put it on me, you joke. I don't be at no port when guns coming in. I am sure cowboys and Indians, no, don't put it on me, you idiot. When taxpayers' money waste, don't spot it in my face. You better spot the light and who run the place. I don't run the government. I know if the computer, don't spot it on me, Bozy. Spot the light on the DLP. Oh, yeah. Aye. Walaka. Blinding you with the LEDs. Them that are doing as the please. I don't tell the authorities I feel violated. Don't spot them in the treasury. Then you will see if the economy living off borrowed money that IMF dictated. Light is a great disinfectant. Use it, don't abuse it at night. Cause all that hide in the darkness must come out in the light. Spot the light in the board meetings and see who is representing you, or the rich minority. I want you spot the light in the right places and find out who is standing up for you, or just running them out. Don't spot it on me, no way. I don't have any clout, no power, no say, okay. And I ain't got no land to give away. Don't spot it on me, you idiot. One for you, another one quick. Don't target me one bit. You better spot the light on the cabinet. I may drive and get annoyed. Check my front and touch a boy. Don't spot it on me, you insane. You spot the light in the wrong lane. Why, aye, 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 aye. Walaka. When you see me on the road at night, make sure that you dim your light. I give you valuable insight. Time for activation. Aim the light, aim it all about. Human cockroaches running out. Places you will never dream about. Need illumination. Wickedness reside in high places. Time for you to make wrong things right. Corruption is hiding in dark spaces. In Barbados, let there be light. Spot the light on the police, you can choose. Some are real professional, some protect their shoes. Spot the light in the courtrooms and find out why them hardened criminals out here walking about. Don't spot it on me, you're free. I can't give a big speech, I've got the whole world, so I'm based. All now I still getting praise. Don't spot it on me, you're free. I look negative at George Street, I know who get cussed or beat. Spot the light out in Robert Street. I never tried to meet with Trump or get some fed up man to jam. Don't spot it on me, yeah good. Spot the light in El Rapport. Crime out here getting worse. Spot the light on the AG first. I ain't laughing out none. Spot the light on the Calypso. Admiral my degree. Spot the light by my friend Gabby. I know what's good for my health. Spot the light by your blinking self.